Chapter 803. On the lunar star, heavenly monarch Ziwei had been frozen into an ice sculpture. The power of the moon sealed his body in ice, and he dispersed his spirit. The purple myrtle immortal position had become a dream that he could never pursue. It was impossible for him to kill Zilan and take Ziwei's immortal title, especially in this kind of situation. The heavenly cord had been destroyed, and the celestial emperor had gone missing. He had no chance at all. Fairy Xilan sobbed and hugged Fairy Yushua. There were only two people left in the lonely moon palace. In the name of the heavenly Tao, Zilan is willing to give up her celestial position and transform into a jade rabbit. I will follow the moon god and suppress the moon forever. The celestial light was resplendent, and the purple light was shining. The heavenly Tao turned a deaf ear. In the name of the heavenly Tao, Zilan is willing to give up her celestial position. She prayed and prayed, but Ziwei's immortal position only brought her pain. Giving up the Ziwei immortal position was her own choice. She didn't want to get involved in the affairs of the heaven realm, and it was very likely that Emperor Ziwei would set foot in the heaven realm again. Only by giving up and turning into the Jade Rabbit could she stay on the lunar star forever and accompany Yushua. On the lunar star, the power of heaven fluctuated, and the heavenly Tao sensed it. The demon sovereign appeared silently. Why do you have to do this? Inherit the position of celestial myrtle. In the future, when the heavenly Tao is complete and the underworld reappears, there might be a chance of revival. Now that the heavenly Tao had returned, heavenly monarch Ziwei's soul dissipated. He believed that the heavenly Tao must have retained a bit of its divine soul. As long as the heavenly realm was unified and the heavenly Tao was complete, Fairy Zilan would become Emperor Ziwei and have a chance to revive heavenly King Ziwei. Fairy Xilan's expression was wooden as she kowtowed again and again, praying to the heavenly Tao. Fairy Yushua's expression was cold as she kowtowed as well. The moon god is willing to suppress the moon forever and enter a deep slumber until the heaven realm is unified. The Holy Land has already started. Don't the two of you want to go and take a look? The demon emperor frowned. Let's wait for him to wake up. We don't want to participate in the matters of the heaven realm. Goddess Yushua sighed softly. The power of heaven fluctuated and the power of the moon spread out, sealing the celestial body in ice. Purple light flashed and flew out of Fairy Zilan's body, returning to the heavenly Tao. At the same time, half of the purple myrtle divine sword also returned to the heavenly Tao. Fairy Xilan turned into a jade rabbit and lay in Fairy Yushua's arms. The power of the moon spread and sealed them in ice. The ground of the great Een star rippled, and they and the ice statue of heavenly monarch Ziwei slowly sank into the great Een divine star. The spirit demon emperor sighed and turned to leave. This was their choice, and he could not interfere. When the heaven realm was unified, they would awaken. At that time, his holy land should be even more beautiful. Back at the Holy Land, the spirit beast emperor placed his hand on the Bu-Zhou Mountain's barrier and transferred the heaven energy over. Then, he flew into the air and a white flower appeared, absorbing the chaos chi, converting it into innate divine power and channeling it into the Saint Land. From now on, the immortals and deities in the sacred land would cultivate connate spirit energy. He had also glimpsed the Tao of transformation of the flowers. If he were to set up a formation, he would be able to transform even more. The Monster King returned to his palace and asked someone to pass the news of the heavenly realm to Mount Buzhou. Inside Mount Buzhou, Jiang Changkong obtained the power of heaven and converted it into essence, qi, and spirit. 83 million. This was what he had obtained. His demon subordinates had also obtained a lot of heaven's power. Some were used to comprehend the Tao, while others were kept for refining artifacts. The demon emperor stepped into the sacred land and found Sun Wushu and Sun Wushuan. Demon emperor. The two of them hurriedly bowed. They still liked to call him demon emperor, the demon emperor that didn't belong to the demon court. The uniqueness of the sacred land can already help you improve. If possible, Tell them not to borrow the power of heaven." The demon emperor muttered, "It's not that I don't want to, but I have decided to wait until the time is right to enter the chaos realm." "Enter the chaos realm?" Sun Wushu said in a low voice. "Is it to deal with the immortal spirits?" The demon emperor said, "That's right. As long as the immortal spirits are not destroyed, the heavenly realm will not be at peace. Soon, I will use the mountain river map to cleanse the heavenly realm." "Demon emperor, don't worry. I will not use the power of heaven to improve," Sun Wushuan guaranteed. This Tao comprehension hall was enough for him. "I have already comprehended it, and I will soon become an immortal venerable." "Good. After some time, I will bring the demon god's corpse and refine a divine artifact for you to comprehend," the demon emperor said with a smile. "Thank you, demon emperor," Sun Wushu said excitedly. He paused and said, "Oh right, the people of the two immortal venerables also want to come." The demon emperor said, "Welcome. I am indebted to the two immortal sects. I will leave this matter to immortal venerable Wushu." After giving instructions, the demon emperor left the Holy Land and entered the celestial world. The heavenly court had disappeared, and so had the passage to the lower realm. However, with his current strength, he did not need the passage to the lower realm. The demons were sweeping away the opposing forces in the celestial world. From today onwards, the heavenly court's territory would belong to the demon emperor, Dongwang Chongyue, or Jiang Chongkong. Needless to say, the East Sea knew his identity and directly chose to submit. On the other side, his main body also improved his mystic art to perfection. He turned into a chaotic demon god and comprehended the Tao of the demon god. The demon god's Tao pattern strengthened again, and his Tao's might increased. Jiang Chongkong, peak immortal venerable 8th revolution mystic art, perfection 1 of 312. 5 million Kanate chaotic Tao body, Deshang 162nd. 5 million golden crow immortal sutra, perfection 39,025 million/39, 025 million essence, energy, and spirit, 21. 83 million. Jiang Chongkong did not look at the remaining numbers. He contacted the demon emperor and increased his strength. At this time, if he encountered the previous half-sage again, he was confident that he could kill it with one slap. He just did not know how strong a half-sage celestial spirit would be at its peak. After converting the chaotic golden crow's power to increase the demon emperor's strength, Jiang Chongkong's figure disappeared and returned to Buzhou Mountain to absorb the chaotic energy and connate spiritual qi to recover. The demon emperor went into seclusion for 2 days to modify his secondary body. He had a feeling that his secondary body had reached its limit. If it was any stronger, it might not be able to bear it and explode. "I'll take it one step at a time. I'll go into the chaos and see if there is a divine artifact made by the chaotic golden crow," the demon emperor thought. If there was, he could use the demon god's corpse to make a divine body. It would definitely be stronger. After thinking for a while, the demon emperor did not rush to clean up the celestial spirits. Instead, he returned to the celestial world and went to the East Sea Ascension Pool. Now that the sacred land had been built, he could be said to be the strongest in the heaven realm. He could bring his friends from the mortal world. As for the heavenly emperors of the 3 heavenly courts, he did not care about them anymore. Unless they increased their strength again and were infinitely close to the sage level, they could only challenge him. A wisp of divine power that contained the demon god's power entered the ascension pool. Since the East Sea's 12 mortal worlds ascended from here, there must be a connection point with the mortal world. With his strength, he could definitely find the connection point. Endless divine power swept through the void. In the void, he could destroy countless weak mortal worlds with a thought. He eliminated them one by one and quietly scanned through these mortal worlds, searching for the East Sea's 12 mortal worlds and the Ascension Gate. Soon, an Ascension Gate and a familiar aura appeared in his senses. His divine will entered the mortal world, and many information entered his mind. All kinds of information in the mortal world were easily seen by him. He saw his senior sisters and the abyss dragon who was working hard to cultivate. There were also old acquaintances like Nan Yuyong and Ing Lioli. They were all living well. Their strength had improved, but they were still some distance away from becoming immortals. You saved me back then. Today, I will save you. Chapter 804. The Demon Emperor chuckled. The Ascension Pool surged, and the immortal Ascension Gate was connected to the Ascension Pool. His true body did not descend, just a weak strand of divine power. He passed through the Ascension Pool and entered the mortal realm. On Second Earth, his senior sisters, who had already cultivated to near godhood, were high up in the sky, looking down and sprinkling mystic light. The underworld dragon lay beside them and muttered, "Don't bother me if you guys aren't cultivating. I still have to go up to find Brother Kong." You have to balance work and rest. Every transformation takes decades, or even centuries. Who knows when we can ascend? Xiling pouted. Why not enjoy it more? That's why you guys are still near godhood. The underworld dragon, Jiang Zhongming, said disdainfully. You the same. Tang Ruashi said softly. By the time we ascend, Chang Kong will already be a powerhouse in the celestial realm. We'll just have to ride on his coattails. Given Chang Kong's speed of improvement, it's possible. Ing Yinxua said thoughtfully, I think it's more likely that Chang Kong will come and fetch us before we ascend. Wishful thinking. Jiang Zhongming sneered. No matter how powerful Brother Kong is, he can't become a powerhouse in the celestial realm before we ascend and fetch us. Nan Yuyong flew over. Yeah, maybe Jiang Chang Kong found a fairy he likes in the celestial realm and has already forgotten about us. Bang! Who kicked me? The underworld dragon and Nan Yuyong tumbled at the same time, groaning in pain. Those who don't bring you to the celestial realm will kick you. Jiang Chang Kong appeared, smiling at them. Brother Kong, Chang Kong. Everyone looked at him excitedly. Jiang Chang Kong had returned from the celestial realm? Don't be so excited. I'm just a strand of divine power. My incarnation is still waiting for you in the Ascension Pool. Jiang Chang Kong smiled. Get ready. These celestial resources will be left for Earth. You guys follow me to the celestial realm. Are we really going to the immortal world? I'm curious. Did you guys guess that I'm coming back and happen to be talking about this? Jiang Chang Kong asked. We'll talk once in a while. Nan Yuyong said excitedly. Wait, I'll contact the Federation and the Nan family right away. I'll tell them that I'm going to the immortal world and won't play with them anymore. We will go too. Goodbye, mortal world. Jiang Chang Kong, all of you yearn for the immortal world so much, so don't regret going there. However, with the Holy Earth's power here, they wouldn't feel any regrets. They would like that place, peacefully comprehending the Tao. When Jiang Chang Kong returned, the entire starry sky was shaken. Many true gods rushed over. Jiang Chang Kong did not have much time to gather with them this time, but he did leave behind many immortal scriptures and insights, as well as many first-grade immortal resources. With those resources, it was likely that many martial immortals would be born. As for the better resources, he only left them for the Earth Federation, and the best was only rank 3. The mortal world wouldn't be able to bear the resources that were too good. Even so, he had to seal his divine power, or might drop in grade. He also brought you Qinyin and a few others from the Golden Rock race, so that the Golden Pool Great Rock could take a look. Ing Lioli and the other true gods were also brought up, so that they could become immortals as soon as possible. Although the Heaven Realm was chaotic, he was confident that he could protect it. If the Heaven Realm really couldn't hold on and was attacked by the immortal spirits, the mortal world wouldn't be safe either. This was the conclusion he came to after thinking for a long time. Letting them become immortals earlier and enter the Holy Land to comprehend the Tao would also increase their strength. Most importantly, the transformation in the Heaven Realm was fast, but the progress in the mortal world was too slow. A wisp of divine power brought them through the Ascension Gate into the Ascension Pool. Without the Ascension Pool, they were still too weak. They would think about it later. This is the immortal world. What a strong pressure and dense immortal energy, a group of people said excitedly. This is the East Sea. Damn, that crab is so powerful. I can't see through its cultivation. That lobster is so scary. I can't even take a look at it. The Demon Emperor's mouth twitched. Cough. Can you not be such a bumpkin? As friends of the #1 expert in the heaven realm, please take out your arrogance and beat up whoever you don't like. Haha. As if we can beat them up. Ji Xiling curled her lips. They couldn't even beat a crab. Acting Dragon King, the banquet is ready. Shrimp Dahai swam over quickly. He was also a martial immortal now. The Demon Emperor said, "Let's go. I will treat you to seafood and tell you about the situation in the celestial world." In the East Sea Dragon Palace, the banquet was ready. Jiang Changkong asked people to bring some immortal wine. It was delicious when paired with the food of the East Sea. However, they were too weak. A single lobster could eat them until they were full. Shrimp Dahai told them about the great deeds of the acting Dragon King, how he raised the East Sea with one hand. Of course, he would also add some artistic touches. For example, when he suppressed a human immortal with one finger, he turned it into someone who peed their pants when they saw the acting Dragon King. Back then, the Heaven Emperor cried and begged the acting Dragon King to be the god of justice. Now that the heavenly court was destroyed by the acting Dragon King, it was all up to them. The Demon Emperor just smiled and didn't say anything. After the meal, they couldn't eat anymore. The Demon Emperor told Shrimp Dahai to settle the East Sea and then follow him to the Holy Land. In the Holy Land, Sun Wuxuan and the others were cultivating in the Tao Comprehension Hall. Let them enter the Tao Enlightenment Hall of the Holy Land to comprehend the immortal world, and they could learn any immortal scripture they wanted. Although the scriptures were still incomplete, Jiang Changkong could help them transform into true dragons if they were willing. The Underworld Dragon also went to find the Underworld Dragon race. Because of the war, the Underworld Dragon race had suffered heavy losses. Luckily, all their old friends were there. Seeing the Underworld Dragon, Ghost Mother 15 was also very excited. Only then did she know that the Demon Emperor had gone down to pick them up. The god of the Holy Land introduced them to the Xiantian spiritual energy here that could help them quickly become celestials. The Demon Emperor called 1,000-Year Feather over. "Brother, I brought you here because I need your help with something. Speak. There's no need to be polite between us." 1,000-Year Feather patted his chest. "It's like this. There's a group of golden rocks on Mount Buzhou, but they support the Demon Emperor and not me." The Demon Emperor explained. "Do you still recognize this ancestor?" "Oh, you want to kill them?" 1,000-Year Feather asked. The Demon Emperor coughed. "No, the 3 celestial emperors aren't suitable. Although I'm the strongest for now, I can't be the celestial emperor if the heavenly Tao doesn't agree. What I want is to build a holy land and raise an army of immortals to follow me into the primal chaos to kill immortals. You want them to support you." 1,000-Year Feather understood. "What's your plan?" In the last years of the ancient era, immortals supported 4 celestial emperors, the Demon Emperor said. "What I want you to do is to tell them about this. My main body is on Mount Buzhou. No one can touch you. What if they find out we know each other?" 1,000-Year Feather thought. "We already know each other. There's no need to hide this. Just let them know that the 3 courts can't be relied on. Also, tell them that they don't support the celestial emperors. They just need to support me in perfecting this eternal paradise. Leave it to me." 1,000-Year Feather patted his chest. "I'll go in now." "No, improve first. I'll give you some life-saving measures and arrange for immortal kings to protect you. Don't go in and get eaten." Chapter 805. The Monster Emperor converted the Khanate spirit Qi into Yu Qinyan's body. He was still too weak and couldn't withstand the chaotic energy. He planned to modify the sacred land and create a chaotic body tempering pool. When he became an immortal king or immortal emperor, he would have to go there to be tempered by the chaotic energy. As long as he could create a chaotic body, he would find demon god Tao patterns for them. In the future, it wouldn't be a problem for him to create a batch of chaotic fiend gods. With the help of the Tao Enlightenment Hall, Yu Qinyan's strength improved rapidly. With the Monster Emperor's full nurturing, he reached the martial immortal level in just 3 days. It wasn't good for the lowest level immortals to be too strong at once, as it could damage their foundations. He called Sun Yuan and asked him to escort Yu Qinyan to Buzhou Mountain. The Monster Emperor took out the mountain river map and prepared to cover the heaven realm. The mountain river map contained a real world. The treasure map spread across the sky, and the power of a divine artifact filled the entire heaven realm. The three heavenly emperors were shocked, but didn't stop it. They couldn't stop it and didn't need to. They could take the opportunity to kill the exposed immortal spirits. The Emperor Beast sat under the mountain river map and poured the power of the golden crow into it. Buzz! Wherever the map of mountains and rivers expanded, the entire heaven realm was shaking. The heavenly might was brilliant, and the heavenly Tao also appeared. Clearing the immortal spirits was a great credit to the heavenly Tao. Rumble! The space of the entire heaven realm was strengthened. Even the limit of immortal venerables couldn't break the space of the mountain river map's expansion. Only a half-saint could break it. The power of the world spread, but it was very weak. After all, it was just to check if they were immortal spirits. Changes happened in the monster court, heavenly court, and divine court at the same time. The heavenly Tao descended and suppressed them. Lightning flashed, and tribulation clouds surged. There were still immortal spirits hidden in the three courts. The monster emperor sighed. He didn't know if they had sneaked in recently or if they hadn't cleaned them up in the first place. His three eyes opened and spied on the three courts. He saw immortal kings, immortal emperors, and even immortal venerables. They were all immortal spirits. It was obvious that no one, including the monster emperor, had completely cleaned them up. Immortal emperors and immortal venerables couldn't casually sneak in. After all, the current situation was tense, and the celestial emperor didn't dare to rashly accept experts. The spirit demon emperor watched as they killed the immortal spirits one by one and obtained the heavenly energy. He couldn't help but raise his head and look at the sky. This was the demon emperor chosen by the heavenly Tao. No matter how he looked at it, he was the most suitable to become a heavenly emperor. Boom! A large amount of heaven's power entered his body. As the immortal essence was cleansed, the demon emperor was rewarded. He was the one who opened the stately painting, and the greatest credit for clearing the immortal essences was also his. This was just like how the celestial arch had benefited from his enforcement of the law. He just needed to sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. One by one, the immortal spirits were cleared. There were actually still some immortal spirits hidden in the heaven realm's divine stars. Without waiting for him to make a move, the demon arch and the others had already charged over. The spirit demon emperor watched as they cleaned up and waited for the power of heaven to enter his account. Once the heavenly realm was cleaned up, he would go to the immortal realm. At the peak of Mount Buzhou, Jiang Changkong was teaching the little dragon king how to cultivate. Peng Jiuqian's expression turned ugly. Fellow Taoist Jiang, the demonic sovereign is your incarnation? Yes, Jiang Changkong admitted readily. During this period of time, the immortal sovereigns of the four races often went to the foot of Mount Buzhou. However, they didn't show themselves and only secretly watched. Now, at the foot of Mount Buzhou, those immortal kings were all discussing the situation of the heaven realm. The demon emperor's identity had been exposed, and the heavenly court had been destroyed by the demon emperor. The heavenly emperors of the three heavenly courts were all supported by the immortal spirits. Outside, the demon emperor was using the stately painting to clean up the heavenly realm's immortal spirits. What about the things they spread? Peng Jiuqian frowned. It's all true. The heavenly court has been destroyed, and the demon emperor has established a holy land. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Holy land? Peng Jiuqian frowned. What's a holy land? It's something that the heavenly emperor didn't finish back then. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Suddenly, he raised his brows. An old friend is here. Fellow Taoist Peng. Do you want to go and welcome him? Your old friend? He should be an immortal emperor or above. How can he come in? Peng Jiuqian asked doubtfully. A martial immortal. Speaking of which, he's related to the golden-winged great rock race. Jiang Changkong chuckled, and his figure dissipated. Peng Jiuqian quickly followed and rushed to the foot of Mount Buzhou. At the foot of Mount Buzhou, Yu Qinyan was very nervous. Fortunately, he had immortal equipment and the immortal kings to help him resist the divine might. Without immortal kings and immortal equipment, it would be difficult for him to move around. Sun Yuan and the others brought him around, waiting for Jiang Changkong to take him away. A gray light flashed, and Yu Qinyan disappeared. Sun Yuan and the others left and returned to the Holy Land. A golden light followed them. When it looked at Yu Qinyan, it felt like it had a bloodline connection. The bloodline of the golden-winged Great Rock. After returning to the Dragon Egg world, Jiang Changkong let go of Yu Qinyan and said with a smile, "Long time no see, Brother Qinyan. I just parted ways with your secondary body. How can you say it's been a long time?" Yu Qinyan smiled and looked at Peng Jiutian. He said respectfully, "Yu Qinyan of the Golden Rock race greets the golden-winged Great Rock." Golden Rock race? Peng Jiutian was startled. "Why are you so weak? A mere martial immortal of the Great Rock race wouldn't become a martial immortal even if they cultivated casually, especially at the peak of Mount Buzhou, where there was dense natural spiritual energy. Almost all of them were martial immortals the moment they were born." "Ancestor, I came from a mortal world. The Monster Emperor came down to bring the Golden Rock race up because of our friendship," Yu Qinyan explained. "He was here to persuade the Great Rock race." "What Monster Emperor?" Only the Monster Emperor was worth supporting. At the same time, he also told them about the Golden Rock race. "The mortal world, the Golden Rock race," Peng Jiutian murmured. "They were the descendants of the Great Rock race. If they gave their blood, essence, and immortal sutras, as long as they weren't too useless, the Golden Rock race could transform into Golden Rock race. This was a chance to expand their race. They had just been invaded by immortals and suffered heavy losses. The arrival of the Golden Rock race could make up for it. However, this group of Golden Rock race probably wouldn't be loyal to them. I came to the heavenly realm and lived in the Holy Land. There is no worry there. It is peaceful and allows people to comprehend the Tao in peace. There is also the Tao Comprehension Hall." Yu Qinyan introduced the Holy Land to Peng Jiutian. He didn't believe that they wouldn't be tempted. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, "The Holy Land is also a manifestation of the heavenly Tao. Back then, God Hao Tian wanted to create an eternal paradise." Peng Jiutian pondered over these words. He wasn't doubting the truth, but he was thinking about Jiang Changkong's goal. "You want us to support you in creating the Holy Land?" Peng Jiutian said, "That's right. When the Holy Land is really built, I will use the transformation technique to guide the chaotic qi into innate spiritual energy. With the innate spiritual qi, along with the immortal scripture and enlightenment, they can cultivate without worries." Jiang Changkong said indifferently, "And when innate spiritual energy accumulates to a certain extent, it will give birth to innate spirit stones and innate spirit liquids. Resources will also become abundant." Peng Jiutian's expression changed. "You don't want to be the Celestial Emperor? Is there any difference between this and the Celestial Emperor position?" Jiang Changkong asked. "Will the Monster Emperor and the others tolerate the existence of the Holy Land?" Peng Jiutian frowned and sighed. "The Great Golden Rock race can provide assistance, but I can't make the decision to support it." Chapter 806. The assistance provided by the golden-winged Great Peng race was only some immortal herb seeds and ready-made immortal herbs. These were all top-grade immortal medicine seeds. Many immortal worlds had already gone extinct. Jiang Changkong was not in a hurry. He would let Millennium Feather do the thinking. Peng Jiutian gave Yu Qinyan his essence blood to help him transform, while Jiang Changkong helped him refine it. It took 3 days to clean up the immortal essences in the heavenly realm. One thing worthy of mentioning was that the people from the immortal slaying sect had all disappeared, their whereabouts unknown. There were even more immortal essences in the immortal world. It took 7 days to clear them all. However, he did not find any traces of the Celestial Emperor of the Celestial Court. It was very likely that he had already entered the primal chaos. When the demon's sovereign digested the information, other than the celestial essences, there was also the information given by the heavenly Tao. However, this was not enough for the stately painting. He could not keep opening the treasure map. Even he could not bear such a consumption. Only by completing the heavenly Tao could he discover the immortal spirits in time and prevent them from entering. The heavenly Tao was divided into 9 parts, and now there were only 6 of them. The whereabouts of the other 3 were unknown. After digesting this information, the demon sovereign looked at the barrier of Mount Buzhou. Some of the restrictions had already been lifted, allowing immortal emperors to enter and exit freely. The demon emperor had given the power of heaven to his main body, and this time, he could convert it into more than 22 million essence, energy, and spirit. He was less than 20 million away from perfecting his Tao body. Celestial Venerable Zhan Xian walked out of the Tao Comprehension Pagoda and said, "Congratulations, Demon Emperor. You will definitely be able to improve after clearing the celestial spirit." The Demon Emperor shook his head. "At our level, it is extremely difficult to improve. We need a large number of immortal essences and chaotic beasts. The Demon Emperor wants to enter the chaos world again." Venerable Zhan Xian muttered, "We can't escape for now. The 4 Sky Emperors are still alive." The Demon Emperor sighed. Once he left, the sacred land would suffer a calamity of destruction. The Demon Arch and the others would definitely not be lenient, now that they had a glimpse of the divine path. Even if Venerable Jinshuan and Venerable Penglai joined hands, they would not be able to stop them for long. Even Sun Wuxiu was not included. He had comprehended the divine path, and his strength was too terrifying. The immortal Lord Zhan Xian pondered. "Let me and fellow Taoist Penglai make a trip to the chaos space. Fellow Taoist Zhan Xian, we'll go to the primal chaos." The demon's sovereign frowned. "The situation now is not as good as before. If we fight, they will hold me back, and no one will be able to defend the Holy Land." Although the Demon Emperor was confident that with his current strength, he wouldn't even be able to deal with 4 half-saints. However, if they were to go all out and stall him for a moment, he would be able to break through the Holy Land. "It seems I'll have to wait a little longer if I want to do something for the Holy Land." Venerable Zhan Xian sighed helplessly. Now, the disciples of the 2 great immortal sects have come to the Holy Land to comprehend Tao. They all want to make the Holy Land better. Fellow Taoist Zhan Xian, what do you think about this emperor directly annihilating them? The Demon Emperor looked in the direction of the immortal court. If all 4 courts are destroyed, what will happen to the heavenly Tao? There's no difference between you and Heavenly King Ziwei. Venerable Zhan Xian smiled bitterly. Heaven doesn't allow it, so you can't take the initiative to attack. Defend the Holy Land. Then wait for them to come, or find an opportunity to talk to them. The Demon Emperor pondered. If he took the initiative to destroy the remaining 3 courts, it would be equivalent to provoking the heavenly Tao. But if they dared to take the initiative to attack, then sorry. Back at the Heavenly Saint Temple, the Demon Emperor announced that he was going into seclusion. The celestial emperors of the 3 halls were also in seclusion. This time, they had similarly gained quite a lot from clearing the immortal essences. It's very likely that they'll be half-saints by the time they come out of their closed-door cultivation. At the peak of Mount Buzhou, Jiang Changkong also guided more golden rocks up. The golden-winged rocks took good care of these little fellows. Yu Qianyan had successfully transformed and reached the limit of martial immortal, almost becoming a human immortal. Mother Ghost Mother 15 and the others also came up to reminisce with them. The netherworld dragon Jiang Zhongming had also come. He got along well with the dragons. Looking at these old friends, Jiang Changkong was quite pleased. This was because they did their best to promote the Holy Land. No matter how many benefits the 4 clans offered, they firmly supported Jiang Changkong. Their stance was unwavering. This was especially the case for Feng Jiao. She was so emotional that she almost cried when she saw the Phoenix clan. After that, he would tell the Phoenix race how great the Holy Land was, how the Demon Arch was a bastard, and how the Demon Master under him was also trash. The 4 races also saw the weakening of Mount Buzhou's barrier. Celestial emperors stepped into Mount Buzhou and listened to celestial kings and celestial emperors talk about what was happening outside. They had a clear understanding of the situation in Heaven Realm. Although the deities of the 3 courts would curse Jiang Changkong and the Demon Emperor, but they had to admit that it was the Demon Emperor who cleaned up the immortal spirits, and it was also the Demon Emperor who destroyed the heavenly court. If it wasn't for the Demon Emperor, all the deities in Heaven Realm might have died. After more than a month, there was movement in Heaven Realm again. A terrifying sage aura swept across Heaven Realm. Celestial light shone brightly, and a purple aura appeared in the sky. The purple aura was weak, but it gradually expanded and finally covered the sky. The purple aura was vast and mighty, covering the entire Heaven Realm. An ethereal and emotionless voice sounded in the minds of the Heaven Realm's deities. A chance to become a sage, only the Heavenly Dharch can take it. The chance to become a sage, primordial purple aura. At this moment, the three heavenly thearchs came out of seclusion at the same time and looked up at the 30,000 miles of purple aura in the sky. That was a primordial purple aura. As long as a winner was decided and a heavenly Dharch was chosen, he would be able to entrust his divine soul to the heavenly Tao and become an immortal sage. Heavenly Tao Sage. In front of the heavenly saint temple, the Demon Emperor stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the sky. Zhan Xian and Peng Lai, Sun Wuxuan's immortal aura, was at the limit of an celestial venerable. He had a bitter expression on his face. The heavenly Tao is really biased. Biased? The Demon Emperor laughed coldly. He was indeed biased. The heavenly Tao had never been fair. However, so what? Since they dared to provoke him, the heavenly Emperor no longer needed to exist. The celestial Dharch of the celestial court should be returning soon. As long as he still wanted to prove his Tao and become the only celestial Dharch, he would not let go of this opportunity. Dongwang Changyue. 3 days from now, we'll see who's stronger. The voices of the celestial emperors of the monster court, celestial court, and celestial court came at the same time. Now that they had become half-step saints, they were confident that they could deal with Dongwang Zhangyue. Only by suppressing Dongwang Changyue would they dare to compete for the position of celestial emperor without worry. "I'll keep you company," the Demon Emperor replied coldly. Sensing the aura of the three powerful half-step saints, they were no weaker than the heavenly emperors of the heavenly court. Unfortunately, he had already surpassed his former self. "Are you confident?" asked Venerable Zhan Xian solemnly. "I am 100% sure. You can rest assured in the Holy Land," the Demon Emperor said confidently. "When you guys have also comprehended the primordial chaos realm, we will kill our way into the chaos and destroy the immortal spirit." "Fine, the heavenly Tao is unfair, choosing for scum. We will head to the primal chaos together," Sun Wuxiu and Venerable Peng Lai said at the same time. The celestial Dharch chosen by the heavenly Tao was not willing to do things, so they would do it. After that, they would join forces and kill their way into the primal chaos, burying all the immortal spirits. The purple chi in the sky started to dissipate. This time, it was only to notify the celestial thearchs, clearly telling them that the opportunity to prove their Tao had arrived. In the past, they were only at the limit of celestial venerables and had not comprehended the divine Tao, so they did not have the qualifications. But now they did. After letting the three celestial venerables leave, the Demon Emperor's divine power spread out, communicating with the three celestial thearchs in the sky, deciding on the location of the battle. 3 days from now, the heavenly Tao will open a special space. "Dongwang Changyue, you better be prepared," said the Demon Emperor coldly. The Demon Emperor said indifferently, "Are you preparing to use the heavenly Tao to suppress me? The position of celestial Dharch. Your actions have already angered the heavenly Tao," said the celestial court and celestial court coldly. Chapter 807. Fighting his way into the heavenly court and becoming the heavenly emperor had angered the heavenly Tao. Now that he had 2 sage artifacts, even if the 3 heavenly emperors became half-saints, their chances of winning were not high. The heavenly Tao had interfered. The Demon Emperor sighed. "I really want to take all of them away and destroy the heavenly world. If it weren't for the power of heaven, he wouldn't have bothered with them. He wanted to tear down the heavenly Tao, who was blind." After returning to the heavenly saint temple, He adjusted his condition and decided to bring the sacred saber. You have the heavenly Tao. I have my main body. 2 sage artifacts? I have 3. With 3 sage artifacts, the Demon Emperor was not afraid of the heavenly Tao's interference. Now that the heavenly Tao was incomplete, it was not a big problem to suppress it. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Everyone in the heavenly world was discussing the Demon Emperor's 1-on-3 battle. The invisible power of heaven formed a vortex in the heavenly saint temple, leading to a special space. The auras of 3 half-saints came out from the special space. The Demon Emperor stepped into the vortex and arrived in a void. The void was empty. There was no chaos chi or immortal chi. There was no replenishment here. The 3 heavenly emperors stood in 3 different directions, surrounding the Demon Emperor. 3 heavenly emperors. How does the heavenly Tao plan to restrict me? The Demon Emperor asked coldly. Rumble. Terrifying heavenly might descended. The Demon Emperor's face sank as he felt a world pressing down on him. The map of mountains and rivers appeared and draped itself over his body, making him feel much better. Attack. Without any superfluous words, the Demon Emperor manifested his 10,000 zhang immortal body, suppressing the void with the might of a half-saint. The other 2 heavenly emperors also manifested their immortal bodies. 3 half-saints. The holy might was boundless, and the immortal power transformed. A single drop of immortal power could severely injure a peak immortal venerable. They could easily kill a peak immortal venerable, but this was a half-saint. The Demon Emperor did not use the power of the Golden Crow, but only in human form. 3 half-saint lights, 3 half-saint heavenly emperors. In the void, everything dimmed. The dazzling half-saint light became the only thing in the void. The Demon Emperor's Golden Crow body turned into the sun god star. The heavenly emperor of the immortal court turned into a world like the great Tao of Sword. The celestial emperor of the divine court transformed into a world of his own, accompanied by boundless saintly might. The truths of the great Tao and the patterns of the Saint Tao interwove to form a myriad of scenes. 3 heavenly emperors joined forces. 3 great half-sages joined forces to besiege and kill. Rumble. The light of the half-sage engulfed the 10,000 feet tall demonic emperor. The power of the half-sage filled the void, and the celestial force was like a dazzling galaxy, surging in the void. Boundless saintly might descended. The 3 sky emperors joined hands to strike the demon sovereign, but their expressions sank at the same time. Their attacks had been blocked. The demon god Tao patterns were like chains that intertwined and sealed the demon emperor's divine body. Divine power was attached to the chains and turned into a barrier to protect the demonic emperor. The stately painting released the power of the world, firmly protecting the demonic emperor. The 3 half-saints' immortal force dissipated, but they couldn't break through the defense. They were shocked. How is this possible? Do you all know how powerful this empress is? The demon emperor sneered, and the primal chaos golden crow appeared behind him with the power of an ancient demon god. The image of the golden crow emanated an aura of supremacy and nobility, one that overlooked the vast expanse. The power of the demon god surged out, and the 3 sky emperors were forced back 10,000 miles. Boundless divine light covered the mountains and rivers, an existence that even the heavenly Tao couldn't suppress. Lightning surged above his head, and the heavenly Tao was furious. A vast wave of air collapsed the void for 10,000 miles. Boom! The demon emperor's hand was filled with lightning, stirring thousands of thunderclouds. Rumble! The lightning above his head shook, and the power of lightning was obliterated. The reincarnation disk appeared, and the heavenly Tao shook. The reincarnation disk was actually imprisoned and difficult to use. Do you think that without the reincarnation disk, this emperor has no other way? The demon emperor sneered and slapped a palm toward the 3 sky emperors. Block him! The 3 sky emperors roared, and the power of the half-sage was pushed to the limit. Rumble! One palm destroyed the immortal light and obliterated the power of the half-sage. The immortal power was resplendent and boundless. Blood splattered, and the three half-saint sky emperors were severely injured at the same time, flying hundreds of millions of miles away. In the endless void, the lightning above the demon emperor stirred the tribulation clouds, and the heavenly Tao couldn't shake the divine might. Heavenly Tao, from the beginning, you chose the wrong sky emperor. The demon emperor shouted coldly, crossing the void for hundreds of millions of miles with one step. Rumble. The heavenly might became stronger and stronger, and the heavenly Tao became more and more terrifying, attempting to suppress the demon emperor's power. The mountain and river state painting was also slowly weakening its power, no longer augmenting the demon emperor. The three half-saint sky emperors' eyes lit up, a hint of excitement appearing on their faces. The heavenly Tao isn't with you. The holy artifact will eventually abandon you. What you guys said makes sense. The demon emperor smiled faintly, a world-destroying divine might surging into the sky, shaking the void. Roar. An ancient fiend god roared at the sky, a holy saber revealing its sharpness. Chaos gold fiend god. The three half-saint sky emperors were speechless. Damn it, there was no way to fight. Two holy artifacts, the heavenly Tao, suppressed them, but there was still one holy artifact refined from the corpse of the chaos fiend god. Where in the world did this guy get the holy artifact? The heavenly Tao was incomplete. Suppressing two holy artifacts was already very difficult. And you still came with a third? The chaos gold fiend god tore the void, its monstrous ferocious might shaking this special space. The three half-saint sky emperors roared, but it was hard to block the might of the fiend god. The great Tao of metal pierced through the body. The current demon emperor was not what the previously injured half-saint immortal spirit could compare to. The great Tao of metal suppressed the immortal body. The three half-saints had their immortal power restrained, waiting for death miserably. The gap between them was too great. The demon emperor's strength already far surpassed them. Could it be that Jiang Changkong's main body had already corroborated his Tao to chaos essence? Buzz. A streak of heaven power undulation directly sent the three half-saint sky emperors out. The demon emperor was slightly taken aback. Heavenly Tao, aren't you going too far? A streak of colorful light flickered, forming a damaged, colorful ball of light. It's most beneficial to you for them to be alive. A cold voice came from the colorful ball of light. The demon emperor frowned. What do you mean? Before the ancient times, the four heavenly emperors supported by the immortal spirits, under the impetus of the opportunity to corroborate their Tao, they would think of ways to attract more immortal spirits. The colorful ball of light was indifferent and emotionless. The immortal spirits and chaos ferocious beasts falling should naturally be returned to the heaven realm, letting the heaven realm's resources flourish once more. You want to use them to attract immortal spirits. The demon emperor frowned. Just go to the chaos and capture them. The heaven realm needs to develop, and in the end, it can only be controlled by the demon emperor. You will not stay in the heaven realm. If you become a heavenly emperor, are you willing to guard the heaven realm forever? The colorful ball of light said coldly. The demon emperor said, I will turn the heaven realm into a paradise. The Holy Land can only occupy a part of the heaven realm, and even the heavenly emperor cannot tolerate it. After you leave, it will still collapse. So I want the heavenly emperor to set new rules, the demon emperor said. Also, the demon emperor is not suitable to control the heaven realm. In the end of the ancient times, the demon emperor was not strong enough, and it is understandable for him to use the immortal spirits. Only the heavenly Tao sage can rule the heaven realm. Heaven allows you to build the Holy Land, but it does not allow you to become a heavenly emperor. The demon emperor was silent. His main body would eventually leave, and he could not stay in the heaven realm forever. Now that the heavenly Tao came out and said this to him, it was clearly a compromise. This is not a solution. When can a sage be born? And after a sage is born, it might not be able to accommodate me, the demon emperor said. The heavenly Tao sage can accommodate you. Heaven can guarantee it. Chapter 808. In the void, the demon emperor and the heavenly Tao chatted for a long time. When Huang Xiaolong returned to the heavenly saint temple, he learned that the three heavenly emperors had returned to recuperate. Unfortunately, the heavenly Tao didn't allow him to destroy them. He still needed to keep them alive to contact the immortal spirits. Ever since the end of the primordial era, their connection with the celestial spirits had never been severed. The demon sovereign could exert pressure on them, causing them to continuously attract immortal spirits to their deaths. He used the corpses of the immortal spirits and primal chaos beasts to make up for the heavenly realm's losses all these years. Only when the number of immortal spirits that perished was sufficient would the heavenly Tao truly give out the primordial violet aura. Even if they chose the only heavenly emperor in advance, the heavenly Tao would make the heavenly emperor kill enough immortal essences and chaos beasts before the heavenly emperor could attain Tao. As for the other immortals and gods, the heavenly Tao could only try its best to prevent the three celestial emperors from undergoing mutations. The struggle between the three sky emperors also changed into another way. Either there was only one left, or they broke through the Holy Land and killed the demon emperor. The demon emperor could only accept this because the heavens Tao had given him a price that he couldn't refuse. Every time he killed a batch of immortal spirits, the heavenly Tao would give him an extra amount of heaven's power as a reward. Now that the heavenly Tao was incomplete, it couldn't do anything to him, but he also couldn't do anything to the heavenly Tao. Both sides could only make use of each other to see if the heavenly Tao would recover first, or if the main body would prove the Tao first. If the cooperation went well, they could carve out a piece of land in the future so that the Holy Land could continue to exist. However, the prerequisite was that the celestial Dharch agreed to it. As the demon's sovereign digested this information, the void in front of him changed. The seven-colored ball of light, the embodiment of the heavenly Tao, was deceiving the three celestial emperors. In order to express the sincerity of cooperation, the heavenly Tao allowed him to pry. Hao Tian left, and the heavenly path saint left, leaving behind many divine artifacts. The colorful ball of light said coldly, "You lack the divine artifact now. Find a way to get it back." The heavenly Tao light ball disappeared, and the three heavenly emperors looked solemn. The heavenly Tao had gathered them together, giving them a chance to continue discussing the next step of the plan. In the previous battle, the heavenly Tao had already helped him greatly by suppressing two saint artifacts. However, he did not expect that the demon sovereign would have another saint artifact in his hands. If you want to retrieve the saint artifact, you have to contact that person from the heavenly court, said the demon emperor in a deep voice. The heavenly emperor of the immortal court said with a gloomy expression, Dongwang Changyue's consent is required as well. They had sage artifact fragments in their hands. Although the demon sovereign had lost the chaos bell fragment, he still had the Panga banner and the demon spear fragment. Sun Li and Sun Qing also had saint artifact fragments. Only when all these fragments were gathered together and combined with a special method could they open the ancient era's treasure trove, allowing all the sacred tools to return to the heaven realm. With our status, we can at least possess a saint artifact, the divine court heavenly emperor said. This was the guarantee given to them by the heavenly Tao. As long as they opened the treasure vault and brought back the complete sacred tool, they would at least be able to get one. If he was lucky, he might get two of them. If the three of them had a saint artifact, they might not be able to match up to the demon emperor, but they would at least have some confidence. The demon Dharch pondered. I have decided to take out the sage artifact. That's fine, the two celestial emperors said. However, how do we contact that person from the heavenly court? The two of you don't have any ideas? The demon Dharch smiled faintly. That person in the heavenly court couldn't even find the mountain and river map. Clearly, he had left the heavenly realm. If he left the heaven realm, where else could he go? He could only look for immortal spirits and wait for an opportunity to rise again. Leave Dongwang, Changyue's side to the demon emperor and leave the heavenly court's side to us. How about it? The immortal court's heavenly emperor pondered and said. The demon the arch said coldly, "All right, I will go look for my good second brother now." After the discussion, the void inside the heavenly saint temple rippled, and the image disappeared. A seven-colored light ball appeared. "It's your turn now." "I agree," the demon the arch said indifferently. "I just hope that the heavenly Tao won't make a fool out of me." The heavenly Tao only focuses on the heavenly world's development. The seven-colored light ball said coldly, "You have another choice. You can choose to become a saint, and everything in the Holy Land can be realized." "Oh, what choice?" The demon Thearch's interest was piqued. "Merge with the Tao." "Forget it." The demon the arch waved his hand. He had never considered merging with the Tao. If he succeeded in merging with the Tao, he might not even exist in the end. After the heavenly Tao left, the demon the arch opened the heavenly saint temple and waited for the demon the arch to arrive. A quarter of an hour later, the sun rose, and divine flames filled the sky. The demon the arch had arrived in the Holy Land. "My good second brother, I have come to see you." The demon the arch landed in front of the heavenly saint temple. The demon the arch said indifferently, "The demon the arch is here. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? You are really cruel." The demon the arch sighed and stepped into the heavenly saint temple. "I came here today to admit my mistake." "Admit your mistake." The corner of the demon Thearch's mouth curved into a mocking smile. "A dignified demon the arch will admit his mistake? Previously, I was bewitched by the immortal spirit, which was why I expelled second brother from the demon court. Now that I have sobered up, I have come to invite second brother to return to the demon court." The demon Thearch's expression was sincere. He bowed down and pulled a long face. The demon the arch waved his hand and said, "Demon the arch, don't act like this. It will only make me look down on you." The demon the arch straightened his body. A trace of anger flashed in his eyes, but he hid it well. "Fine, I will come make a deal with you." "What does the demon the arch want to trade?" The demon the arch asked indifferently. The demon the arch said, "The Holy Land. If I become the heavenly emperor, the Holy Land will be safe." "That is not enough. With me here, no one can touch the Holy Land," the demon the arch said confidently. The demon the arch sneered in his heart. "With you here, the Holy Land will be safe? Once I get the holy artifact, break the Holy Land, and kill you, I will be able to become a saint. At that time, even if your main body comes out, you won't be able to withstand a single blow." The heavenly Tao only asked them to kill the demon the arch. It didn't ask them to kill Jiang Chongkong. "Then what if I add this?" The demon the arch took out a crystal that emitted dense blood energy. The demon Thearch's eyes focused. He felt a trace of Pangu's aura from this crystal. It was similar to the one he got on Buzhou Mountain. However, this one was smaller, only the size of a thumb. Its aura was also weaker. The demon the arch thought deeply and said, "What do you want to trade?" "The holy artifact fragment and the method to open it," the demon the arch said. The demon Thearch's expression became serious. "I see. This is not enough to take out the holy artifact. Dong Wang Zhanyue, don't push your luck. This crystal is of great help to you. It might allow you to improve further," the demon the arch said angrily. The demon the arch sneered. "Don't think that I don't know what you are planning. With the holy artifact, who knows what you will do?" The demon Thearch's expression was gloomy. Everyone knew about this. "What else do you want?" The demon the arch gritted his teeth. "Top 7th grade celestial stones. No less than 1,000,000. The demon the arch said. "Such a big appetite. Even the entire heaven realm might not have that much." The demon the arch was furious. Extortion was one thing, but the demon the arch wanted it so much. Even the 3 courts couldn't take it out. "That is for you to consider. I don't need any holy artifact, nor do I need your crystal," the demon the arch said indifferently. "You wait for the demon the arch to bring the celestial stones. Then come and talk to me." The demon the arch waved his hand. Abundant divine power and Tao might swept the demon the arch away. The demon the arch snorted coldly. He didn't say anything and left dejectedly. He couldn't beat the demon the arch now. He could only follow the trade. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to take out the holy artifact. Chapter 809. If he really took out 1,000,000 top 7th grade immortal stones, it would be equivalent to 40 million essence, energy, and spirit force. As for that crystal stone, he would get it. Although it was small, and the Tao might it contained was too weak, it could still strengthen him. Once he took out the divine weapon and the complete demonic spear, he would be able to find the archdevil ancestor and complete his mission. As long as he did it, he would not owe anyone anything. Sitting cross-legged in the heavenly saint temple, the monster emperor once again spied on the 3 heavenly emperors. The 2 heavenly emperors were furious after the monster emperor told them everything, but they had no choice. Like the monster emperor, they could not defeat Jiang Changkong, so they could only think of ways to gather resources. Dongwang Changyue, Jiang Changkong, really shameless, what a big appetite. The immortal court heavenly emperor flew into a rage, wanting nothing more than to destroy the holy land and kill the monster emperor. He is the strongest now, what else can he do? The divine court heavenly emperor frowned. What I am worried about is, if we give him the resources, will he become stronger again? How is that possible? He is already a half-saint. Even top 7th grade immortal stones are useless to him. The monster emperor analyzed. Jiang Changkong is walking the path of the chaos demon god, so he needs chaos chi and materials. Then why does he want these 7th grade immortal stones? The divine court heavenly emperor was puzzled. Maybe to build a holy land. We all know about the Holy Land, and the resources inside can be used freely. If Dongwang Changyue does not prepare the resources, they will run out sooner or later. The immortal court heavenly emperor pondered. During this time, he has also brought his friends from the mortal world, so he needs more resources. Then, do you think we should give him the immortal stones? The monster emperor frowned. We will give them, but we cannot give them that much. The immortal court heavenly emperor pondered. Let that person from the heavenly court do it. Let's give it a try. The monster emperor sighed. They cannot afford it, but someone else could. Immortal spirits. If the heavenly court heavenly emperor went to look for immortal spirits, he could definitely give them immortal stones. Since the end of the ancient times, immortal spirits had destroyed many races and plundered many resources in the heavenly world. Not to mention 1,000,000. Even if it was 10 million, they believed that the celestial essences could be taken out. It was just a matter of whether they were willing to pay or not. If the celestial spirits knew that they should work together to deal with Jiang Changkong and fight for the position of celestial emperor, he believed that the celestial spirits would agree. Back then, Jiang Changkong had killed countless chaos beasts and immortal spirits in the primal chaos. He had also destroyed the heavenly court and ruined their plans. This enmity had long been sown. The 3 heavenly emperors finished their discussion. 2 heavenly emperors entered the primal chaos, their whereabouts unknown. The demon emperor sighed softly. It was a pity that his real body wasn't here. If not, he could follow them to look for immortal spirits and kill them again. The heavenly realm temporarily calmed down. On Jiang Changkong's Buzhou Mountain, Thousand-Year Feather and the others were still doing ideological work for the 4 clans. The demon emperor waited patiently. He was not anxious at all. The Khanate spiritual chi in the Holy Land became denser and denser, and it was enough to support the cultivation of an immortal king. Soon, the Saint Land would become an area filled with innate spiritual chi, and by then, the birth of innate gods would be possible. After 7 days, the 2 celestial emperors returned. The celestial emperor of the heavenly court also returned with them. 4 half-sages. The demon emperor didn't panic at all. He had far surpassed the half-sages, even if the 4 of them joined forces. The demon emperor came again with a gloomy expression. There are only 700,000 immortal stones. If you agree, then we'll trade. If not, I won't come to you again. I reluctantly agree, the demon emperor said indifferently. He had already obtained the sage artifact fragment, and he had passed the method to open it to the demon emperor. The demon emperor also gave resources and crystals. After getting what he wanted, the demon emperor turned around and left without hesitation. The demon emperor brought the immortal stones to the barrier of Buzhou Mountain and sent the things over. He had also given the demon spear fragment. When all of it was taken out, he could snatch it back. As for whether he could snatch it back, that was impossible. He had enough resources. This time, his Chaos Tao body would also enter perfection, and his strength would increase again. His real body would become a Fiend Celestial, comprehending the Fiend Celestial Great Tao and using the heavenly Tao fragment to transform. While he was transforming, the 4 celestial emperors also began to prepare for the ancient treasure. 3 days passed in a flash, and the transformation of the Tao body was successful. Jiang Changkong opened his eyes and felt the strengthened Tao patterns, divine power, and Fiend Celestial Tao might in his body. Jiang Changkong, peak immortal venerable 8th revolution mystic art, perfection, 1 out of 312. 5 million Nate chaos Tao body, perfection, 1/312. 5 million golden crow immortal sutra, perfection, 390. 062 5 million/390. 062 5 million essence, energy, and spirit. 9. 38 million. He took out the crystal, and a strange feeling came, guiding him to the peak of Buzhou Mountain. Isn't this for absorption? Jiang Changkong looked at the peak of Buzhou Mountain and came to the barrier to increase the Demon Emperor's strength. He didn't know what was hidden at the peak of Buzhou Mountain, but he had to increase the Demon Emperor's strength first. His strength increased again, and a crack appeared on the Demon Emperor's chaos divine body. Jiang Changkong stopped with a serious expression. The Demon Emperor's body could no longer bear his full strength. It was only 80%, and the body could no longer bear it. 80% is enough, the Demon Emperor said confidently. If he increased his strength again, with 80%, he would be able to defeat 4 half-sages, even if they had divine artifacts. Jiang Changkong returned to the peak of Buzhou Mountain, took an elixir, and absorbed the chaotic air currents and innate spiritual qi to recover his divine power. After a day, his divine power was almost fully recovered. Jiang Changkong followed the crystal and left the world of the dragon egg. At the peak of Buzhou Mountain, the chaos divine lightning and chaos astral wind bombarded the 3 blood spheres in the blood pool. The 12 ancestral sorcerer trees were still saplings. Sensing the approaching crystal, the 12 ancestral sorcerer trees cheered and shook. It has something to do with this place. The crystal in Jiang Changkong's hand floated up and flew to the 12 ancestral sorcerer trees. Buzz! A formless wave swept over, and the scenery around Jiang Changkong changed. In the endless chaos, a boundless demon god holding a giant axe roared, and the chaos shook. Pangu! Jiang Changkong's expression froze. The crystal had become extremely huge, and it was glowing at Pangu's heart. This demon god Pangu was not powerful, and his strength was similar to his. Rumble! Pangu's axe fell, and the chaos split open. Its target was Jiang Changkong. Boom! Jiang Changkong also manifested his boundless divine body, and the demon god, Tao pattern enveloped the chaos. He punched at Pangu's axe. Sky-splitting one. Clang! Like a huge bell, it shook the entire chaos. Jiang Changkong's fist collided with Pangu's axe. The terrifying divine power tore the chaos apart, and there was a huge change. Clear energy rose, and turbid energy fell. Earth, water, fire, and wind swirled around the two. Sky-splitting earth. Neither retreated, and there was only a faint white mark on the back of their hands. The demon god Pangu roared, and Pangu's axe fell again. The mysterious power of sky-splitting shone again. Sky-splitting second. Jiang Changkong did not use his sage artifact. He only used his own strength to fight the demon god Pangu. This was not the real Pangu, but the power left behind by Pangu. He was confident that he could deal with Pangu's power without using his sage artifact. The chaos shattered, and the world opened. Thousands of laws manifested, supporting the world. The two exchanged blows, and divine power spread out, expanding the world. At the same time, the pressure increased. The rising clear energy was falling, and the falling turbid energy was rising. Chapter 8:10. In the heavenly world, a storm was brewing. Ancient immortal aura and sage aura swept out. Thousands of rays of immortal light filled the entire heavenly world. 4 rays of immortal light and 4 half-saints rose from the ancient treasure. The ancient treasure that had been drifting in the void finally appeared under the guidance of a special method and the saint artifact fragment. An ancient divine mountain that looked like a huge rock flew out of the void. There was also a trace of a unique aura, the aura of the heavens. The 4 half-saints circulated their divine force and stepped onto the mountain with the saint artifact fragment in their hands. Boom! The fragments in their hands flew out at the same time. An ancient and desolate aura rose from the divine mountain. The divine aura was vast and boundless. A vast pressure came from the divine mountain. A celestial light with a dense aura of heaven soared into the sky and merged with it. Heavenly Tao fragment. The monster emperor's expression froze. That ray of immortal light was a part of the heavenly Tao. 7 parts of the heavenly Tao. He could clearly feel that the heavenly world's space had strengthened. Everything had strengthened. A unique fluctuation came from the divine mountain. The monster emperor was shocked. He stepped out of the heavenly saint temple and headed towards the divine mountain. The remnant power of time. If not for this power, he might have waited for them to finish distributing the saint artifact or for the saint artifact to leave on its own. The saint artifact chose its master. It was fine for ordinary saint artifacts, but for top-tier saint artifacts, unless it was fated, even a heavenly saint might not be able to subdue it. But now, he had to take a look at the information left behind by the ancient immortals. Was there a higher realm after the sages? Where did the ancient immortals go? Would there be any news left here? On the divine mountain, figures appeared one after another. They were ancient immortals. He saw the moon god, young Erlang, Neza, and heaven's equal sage from the mountain of flowers and fruits, ancient immortals and sages of the heavenly Tao. Hutu of hell, Empress Wa, the supreme heavenly emperor, the 3 pure ones. Heavenly saints stood at the foot of the divine mountain, splitting the saint artifact into fragments to study. There were no specific records of the research, only some general information. Other than them, there were also countless immortals. These immortals seemed to be discussing something, but it was all just an illusion. Time did not record their words. Or perhaps they did not want to stay. Dong! An ancient bell rang out. The supreme treasure, the bell of primal chaos, had recovered to its peak. A tyrannical suppressive force spread out, suppressing the void. Rumble! A monstrous baleful aura and boundless killing intent. The 4 divine swords were like ancient seals that connected the heavens and the earth. A formation diagram floated above the 4 killing swords, emanating a terrifying killing intent. Even a demon emperor would feel as though his skin was being pierced by thousands of needles. Looking at the 4 killing swords, it was like a world of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. There was only slaughter and death. 4 immortal slaying swords. The demon sovereign squinted his eyes. These 4 killing swords were terrifying to the extreme. The number 1 killing weapon in the heaven realm. Only the 4 saints could break it. Of course, it depended on who set up the formation. Rumble. The 4 killing swords shook the void and stirred up the wind and clouds. They directly flew out of the divine mountain and disappeared. The 4 celestial emperors were greatly anxious and wanted to give chase, but they had nowhere to start and could only watch helplessly as the 4 immortal exterminating swords flew away. Rumble. A destructive aura, the great path of destruction, and a monstrous demonic aura surged. A long spear emitted boundless destructive power, shaking the God Mountain. It then turned into a beam of light and flew into the demon emperor's body. Only now did the 4 half-saints notice the demon emperor, and a trace of rage flashed through their eyes. They had worked so hard to open it, but they didn't expect the demon emperor to still take advantage of it. You have 4 sage artifacts each? Can you take it? It was good to have more sage artifacts, but what was the use if you couldn't use them all? Buzz. The heaven and earth chi shattered the void, and a majestic pagoda entered the void and disappeared. Stop it. The four celestial emperors worked together, but the pagoda released a supreme might, directly shattering their immortal power. Next, more sage artifacts appeared. A red ball landed in the hands of the celestial court, celestial emperor. The celestial court, celestial emperor obtained a divine sword. The celestial court, celestial emperor obtained a seven-colored sapling. The demon emperor stopped in his tracks, and Hutu's figure appeared in the immortal god projection. Hutu took the reincarnation plate and left. The sage artifacts left one after another. The four celestial emperors all obtained sage artifacts, and the other sage artifacts could only leave. The god mountain under their feet also turned into a beam of light and left. The demon emperor looked at the leaving god mountain and sighed. None of the sage artifacts belonged to him. The reincarnation plate was lent to him by Hutu, and the magi of Bujo Mountain would probably take it when they appeared. The stately painting was the method to obtain and control passed down by the demon ancestor. If the demon ancestor came out, the stately painting would probably be taken away. Thinking about it, only the golden demon divine saber that he snatched was his sage artifact. Dongwang Changwe. The celestial court, celestial emperor looked coldly, or Jiang Changkong. Do you want to fight? The demon emperor put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, I don't mind sending you on your way now. It won't be long before I personally kill you. The celestial court, celestial emperor snorted and disappeared. The other three celestial emperors didn't make a move either. They had just obtained the sage artifacts and needed time to master them. The demon emperor turned into a beam of light and left for the celestial world's North Sea. Even if he only had the sage artifact saber, he wasn't afraid of the four half-sages. The deathly silent North Sea suddenly stirred, and a monstrous demonic aura circulated. The spear of destruction automatically flew out and sank into the North Sea. The demon emperor flew down into the North Sea, and a chaotic Tao might split the seawater. You're finally here. The demon ancestor sat on the dragon throne, unable to hide his excitement. What else do you want me to do now? The demon emperor asked calmly. Break this place. The demon ancestor raised his hand slightly, and the spear of destruction landed in the demon emperor's hand with a hint of vigilance. The demon emperor smiled indifferently. You're only letting me use it now. Demon ancestor, you're really stingy. As soon as he finished speaking, divine power poured into the divine spear, activating the power of destruction, and the spear pierced into the ground. Rumble. A terrifying power rushed into the sky, and a monstrous demonic aura rushed into the sky. The heavenly realm and the celestial realm were all shaking, and the demon ancestor's aura was also rapidly increasing. Celestial Lord, Celestial King, Celestial Emperor, Celestial Prime, all the way to half-sage. A head flew out and turned into a human form. Little guy, you really satisfy me. The demon ancestor raised his hand, and the spear of destruction and the stately painting left the demon emperor's body at the same time. The demon emperor did not stop the stately painting from leaving. He had already made preparations before coming. The demon ancestor said indifferently, You don't seem surprised. There's nothing to be surprised about. If I know to hold back, how could the demon ancestor not? The demon emperor said indifferently. The demon ancestor laughed out loud, causing the entire North Sea to rumble. Very good. I won't let you work for so long for nothing. Once I recover, I won't make things difficult for you. We're even, and no one owes the other. The demon emperor raised his hand slightly. From now on, we go our separate ways. If there's a day where we become enemies, the demon ancestor does not have to hold back. All right, I'll remember that. The demon ancestor's smile disappeared. Back then, no one would have thought that someone like you would really appear in the mortal world. The demon emperor said indifferently, Don't talk nonsense. I just want to know the route that the ancient immortal gods took and where they went. The demon ancestor's figure slowly dissipated. I don't want to tell you. Then don't blame me for sealing you again. Chapter 8:11. The demon emperor's expression was cold. His might swept out, and his majestic aura shook the North Sea. The demon ancestor's spear of destruction streaked across and dissipated the divine might. He said with a faint smile, "Young man, why are you so angry?" The spirit demon emperor did not say a word and only looked at him coldly. All right. Demon ancestor kept his divine spear and said with a smile, "I don't know the route you are looking for. I only know that it is hidden in a branch of time." The demon emperor frowned. "When the ancient immortal gods looked for you, did they tell you where to go? You said that they should find a more exciting place to play. I only know that it's more dangerous there, but I don't know the exact route. In the primordial era, the ancestor was sealed until now." Fiend ancestor shook his head and sighed. Why wouldn't old ancestor want to go? It's just that Hong Jun, that bastard, didn't tell old ancestor any news at all. Demon emperor, let's go. I won't disturb your battle any longer. I'm going to unseal the other bodies. The fiend ancestor paused for a moment before continuing. The stately painting will cooperate with the heavenly Tao to inform you of the news of the immortal spirit. When does the demon ancestor intend to enter the primal chaos to destroy the immortal spirit after breaking the seal? The demon emperor inquired. Didn't Huta tell you not to go to the chaos to find immortal essences? Fiend ancestor asked curiously. The demon emperor said coldly, as long as the celestial spirit is not destroyed, the heaven realm will not be at peace. With that bit of strength of yours, you can consider it again when you are at primordial chaos Tao. The fiend ancestor shook his head as he transformed into a black gas and left. With the departure of the fiend ancestor, the North Sea's demonic aura was also sucked dry. The seawater gradually returned to its azure blue color. The demon emperor pondered for a while, then left the North Sea and returned to the heavenly realm Holy Land. On the other side, Jiang Changkong was fighting Pangu. Two figures fought bitterly against the chaos. The clear and turbid air had already suppressed the two of them. The Fiend Celestial's body was hunched, and it was difficult for him to even raise his palm. Under the terrifying pressure, both Jiang Changkong and the demonic god Pangu felt the strain. Above the clear air, there was a faintly discernible power, oppressive, as if it was above them. This force was pushing the clear and turbid qi to suppress them. Jiang Changkong sensed it carefully. It was somewhat similar to the power of opening the heavens. It was indescribable and intangible. Rumble. The palm force collided with Pangu's axe once again. Both sides were knocked back at the same time. Pangu suddenly gave up on the axe and raised his hands, using one's body to support the sky. The clear qi stopped, and the turbid qi also stopped rising. The pressure was still there, but it was beginning to weaken. As Pangu supported the sky, the clear qi rose again, and the turbid qi continued to fall, slowly weakening. Seeing this, Jiang Changkong's eyes flashed with a hint of understanding. That pressure wanted Pangu to create the world, but it didn't want Pangu to live. If Pangu didn't support the clear power and shape the world, the pressure would crush him to death. As long as he could support the world and survive, Pangu would be able to attain the supreme great Tao. After an unknown period of time, the clear qi stopped descending and the turbid qi stopped sinking. The pressure also disappeared. As for the demonic god Pangu, with a single glance at him, his body transformed into all things, including mountains, rivers, the sun, the moon, and the stars. The spine turned into Mount Buzhou. Jiang Changkong was slightly stunned. If it was as he had seen, Pangu didn't have to die at all. He could completely attain the great Tao and be free forever. Buzz! Pangu's heart flew out and turned into a fingernail-sized crystal. Everything dissipated, and the blood pool appeared again. The crystal sank into the blood pool and disappeared. The three blood spheres immediately shook and emitted rays of azure light. The 12 ancestral sorcerer trees rose into the air and entered his body, sending him messages. 12 divine, fiendish array. As Jiang Changkong digested the information of the 12 witch trees, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. As long as the 12 witch trees were around, he could execute the 12 divine fiendish array and summon Pangu's remaining power. Panga's remaining power had always been in the heavenly realm, the immortal world, the endless mortal world, and even the chaos world. It had never disappeared, and it would last forever. He could fight Panga's remaining power. Although it was only a part of it, it was still recognized. The 12 witch trees were temporarily lent to him, and they would be returned when he attained the Tao. It was a form of protection for him. Once the 12 divine fiendish array is activated, even a sage can fight, Jiang Changkong pondered. He didn't know if the Demon Emperor could do it. He had never met a sage, so he couldn't be sure. Even the demon ancestor was only a half-sage formed from a portion of his body. He was not a sage. If the demonic ancestor were to recover to the level of a sage, the Demon Emperor would definitely not dare to provoke him. I'll leave the 12 ancestral sorcerer trees to the Demon Emperor for now. Jiang Changkong transformed into a beam of light and left. With the 12 ancestral magus trees, he could borrow the power of Pangu. His main body was at Mount Buzhou, and he could not use it at all. As for trying to strike out of Mount Buzhou, he did not waste his energy. The barrier of Mount Buzhou was set up by the ancient immortals and many sages. If he reached primordial chaos, he was confident that he could kill his way out. He arrived at the barrier and sent the 12 ancestral magus trees out. The Demon Emperor guided the 12 ancestral magus trees into his body, and the sapling took root in the chaotic golden crow divine power. Back at the heavenly saint temple, the Demon Emperor sat on the throne, watching the ripples in the void. The 4 heavenly emperors were all familiarizing themselves with the holy artifacts they had just obtained. Demon Sovereign, this subordinate has something to report. Sun Li's voice rang out. The 2 brothers stood respectfully outside the door. Come in, the Demon Emperor said indifferently, and the scene in front of them disappeared. When the 2 brothers entered, Sun Li hesitated for a moment and said, Demon Sovereign, please seal the palace. Why so cautious? The Demon Emperor was slightly surprised. He spread out his god force to protect the palace. Sun Li took a deep breath. A ferocious aura, mixed with a shocking murderous intent, filled the entire palace. The Demon Emperor's hair stood on end, and he looked at Sun Li in horror. The 4 immortal execution swords came with an array diagram. The fragment I obtained in the past was a fragment of the 4 immortal execution swords. Sun Li said respectfully, I am here to present it to the Demon Sovereign. The corner of the Demon Emperor's mouth twitched. The holy artifact chooses its master. Keep it for yourself. Even after the sacred relic was restored, it still chose Sun Li. He had thought that the holy artifact would leave on its own to find a new master. The 4 immortal execution swords were the heavenly world's #1 killing weapon. Of course, this was excluding the 12 capital heavens' divine fiend formation. If it was included, it was not clear who was stronger. Demon Sovereign, the Holy Land needs the Demon Sovereign's protection. There is no use for us to keep it. Sun Li said sincerely. Sun Qing added, Yes, Demon Sovereign, only you can unleash the power of the holy artifact. The stronger you are, the safer the Holy Land will be. I am willing to offer the holy artifact. What is your holy artifact? The Demon Sovereign asked. Heaven and Earth Xian Huang Exquisite Pagoda. Sun Qing took out a pagoda and released Xian Huang Qi to protect his body. Demon Sovereign, I feel that it is better not to open the 12 heavens' divine fiends. This is too much. Heaven Realm's #1 killing weapon, 4 immortal execution swords. Heaven Realm's #1 defense. Heaven and Earth Xian Huang Exquisite Pagoda. With these 2 holy artifacts, what is there for me to be afraid of? Unless a true sage comes, the 12 ancestral sorcerer trees in his body are unnecessary. You are so lucky. I did not get a single holy artifact. The Demon Sovereign said with a complicated expression. These 2 brothers, one attacking and one defending, added together, they were heaven-defying. Demon Sovereign, the 3 heavenly emperors will definitely not give up after obtaining the holy artifact. Just the holy saber is not enough. After all, it is the metal Tao, which is not compatible with the Demon Sovereign. The 2 brothers said, The Demon Sovereign thought for a moment. All right, I will borrow it for a period of time. I will return it to you in the future. He was not in a hurry to reveal his trump card. He would first use these two holy artifacts to play with them. Although he did not have a holy artifact, his subordinates did. Chapter 8:12. He accepted the two divine artifacts. With their agreement, the monster emperor could temporarily borrow them. After the two left, the monster emperor sat alone in the holy saint temple, comprehending the two divine artifacts. This time, it would depend on whether the heavenly Tao would suppress the three divine artifacts. With the reincarnation plate, the four immortal exterminating swords, and the yellow exquisite pagoda, it should be difficult for the current heavenly Tao to suppress them. While familiarizing himself with the two divine artifacts, he looked at the four heavenly emperors. The heavenly Tao appeared again and sent him a message. Immortal spirits had already entered. The demon ancestor was secretly pushing the stately painting, cooperating with the heavenly Tao to give him a hint. Immortal spirits had secretly entered and infiltrated the three courts. The three heavenly emperors knew about the extra immortal spirits, but they did not deal with it. They reached an agreement again, just to kill the monster emperor and become a sage. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. The four heavenly emperors finally controlled the four divine artifacts. For messages entered the monster emperor's mind. Battle in the chaos. The monster emperor raised his head. The heavenly Tao had already reached the seventh piece. He had some control over the chaos near the heavenly realm. There was no need to construct space anymore. He only needed to fight in the nearby chaos. The monster emperor tore the void and stepped into the chaos. The aura of a half-sage dissipated, and he only used 70% of his strength. Although the monster emperor could only bear 80% of his strength, it was still better than before. Majestic Tao might appeared, and the chaos golden crow appeared. The chaos was boiling. Buzz. The four heavenly emperors stepped into the chaos. Near the heavenly realm, their strength would not fall. Monster emperor, we meet again. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor's face was cold. If not for the monster emperor, he would not have left the chaos. If not for the failure of the monster emperor and the others, he might not have had the chance to compete. The monster emperor said indifferently, I will leave you with an intact corpse. Arrogant, I am no longer the same as before. The rainbow-colored sapling exuded a terrifying holy aura. Everywhere it passed, the chaos energy dissipated. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor said proudly, the seven treasures wondrous tree brushes everything. The heavenly emperor's holy aura shook the chaos. The heavenly aura was boundless, and the heavenly court's heavenly emperor appeared. Emperor Wa Red Embroidered Ball, I will kill you today. Saintly might shook the primordial chaos. The heavenly might was boundless, and the emperor's might was thick. 9 dragons accompanied him as the heavenly emperor of the divine court slashed out with his sword. Clear sky, sacred sword, slaying demons in obedience to the heavens. The moment this sword appeared, the other 3 heavenly emperors' expressions changed at the same time. The sword of the clear sky emperor, the ancient heavenly emperor? What did this mean? This sword should be the sacred sword of the celestial emperor. Did this mean that the celestial emperor of the divine court was the best candidate? The demon the arch said coldly, Demon sovereign, it's time to end this. Indeed, it's time for an end. This sovereign is also getting impatient. The demonic sovereign's expression turned cold as he raised his divine might. 80% of his divine force surged forth. In the midst of the primal chaos, astral winds swept past, causing turbulence to flow like a river. The faces of the 4 half-saint heavenly emperors changed at the same time, retreating frantically. My strength will also increase. The demon sovereign sneered and split into 4 beams of divine light, which then shot towards the 4 of them. The bell of chaos manifested. For sage artifacts exuded boundless holy might. Rumble. The divine light clashed against the divine tool. The primal chaos was torn apart, turning into streams of chi. Under the guidance of the power of heaven, they entered the heaven realm. The might of the sage artifacts destroyed the divine light, and supreme holy power enveloped over. The demon's sovereign frowned and raised his divine force again, pushing it to the limit. 100% of his divine force was boundless. The shadow of an ancient fiend celestial appeared. Boundless divine force, the ancient golden crow, fiend celestial, and the might of the fiend celestial Tao looked down on the four half-saint. The light of the sage artifacts was extinguished. The four sage artifacts buzzed, and the bodies of the four half-saint retreated repeatedly, shattering the primal chaos. This bit of strength of yours is still far from enough. The demon sovereign's expression was arrogant and full of disdain. With the sage artifacts, you can fight against this sovereign? How naive! The sage artifact's saber appeared beside him, thick fiend celestial might. The golden fiend celestial manifested a 10,000 zhong phantom, roaring in the primal chaos. Its ferocious might shocked the heavens, and the great Tao suppressed the primal chaos. Kill! The four half-saints shouted angrily. The red embroidered ball shone brightly, and the wondrous tree of seven treasures swept everything. The clear sky, sacred sword accompanied by 9 dragons. Heaven's might and Emperor's might merged into one. The suppression power of the bell of chaos rang, shaking the universe and causing the primal chaos to collapse. The four sage artifacts activated their holy might and attacked the demon sovereign. The demon sovereign held the sage artifact saber, and his fiend celestial Tao's might was raised to the extreme. The peerless saber radiance turned into a boundless sea of golden crow flames, fighting against the four half-saint. The flames of the saber radiance tore through everything, shattering everything. The suppression power of the sage artifact dissipated, and the wondrous tree of 7 treasures was unable to absorb the sea of flames. The heavenly court's heavenly Dharch vomited blood and was sent flying. The demon sovereign's palm landed on the red embroidered ball, and the terrifying power sent the red embroidered ball flying, crashing into the heavenly court's heavenly Dharch. His 10,000 zhong celestial body cracked, and blood splattered everywhere. The primal chaos golden crow charged at the bell of chaos. The demon sovereign forcefully activated the sage artifact, but his foundation was lacking. Although the bell of chaos didn't break, it shook him until he vomited blood. Roar! The 9 dragons roared together, and the heavenly court's heavenly Dharch broke through the sea of flames. The clear sky's sacred sword supreme emperor's might closed in on him. Clang! The sage saber swept past, and the clear sky's sacred sword missed its vitals, brushing past his neck. Gray gold blood flowed out of the wound. As expected of the clear sky, sacred sword's master. The spirit beast emperor praised as a blade light swept out. However, this is all you can do. Boom! As the saber light descended, the celestial emperor of the divine court hurriedly blocked it. Boundless divine power bombarded him, causing him to roll on the ground. His golden blood turned the primal chaos golden. The golden demonic god stood beside him. As the golden crow of primordial chaos cried out, the primordial chaos was destroyed. The endless chaotic turbulence and the tearing power of chaos were converted by the power of heaven into innate spiritual energy and poured into the heaven realm. The heavenly Tao was using their battle to transform the primal chaos and mend the heavenly realm. Kill! The heavenly court's celestial Dharch summoned the wondrous 7 treasures tree and charged over with supreme saintly might. The heavenly emperor of the immortal court, the monster emperor, the heavenly emperor of the divine court, and the 4 half-sages fought with their lives on the line. The sage artifact saber blocked 4 half-sages, and the demonic god Great Tao forced the 4 back. The sage saber cut down the sage artifact, the indestructible metal Great Tao, and the primal chaos golden crow. Wherever the divine might pass, even a half-sage would find it hard to block. The primal chaos bell shook, tumbling outwards. Demonic blood scattered through the primal chaos, drowning out 10,000 li. The red embroidered ball flew in the air, emitting a subtle light, but it was unable to break through the sea of golden crow flames. When the palm force landed, the divine artifact, which was unable to unleash its full might, was no match for the might of a demonic sovereign. The divine saber slashed the wondrous seven treasures tree, and the sharp great Tao shook all things. Blood splattered, and another celestial arch slashed across the demon sovereign's chest, leaving a thin line of blood. Boom! The powerful divine might forced the celestial arch back, and his blood splattered in the primal chaos. His injuries became more serious, but this also made the other three celestial thearchs even more displeased. They were all sage artifacts, but the celestial arch of the divine court obtained the clear sky sacred sword. How could he injure the demon sovereign? They couldn't. Even the celestial arch suspected that the heavenly Tao liked the celestial arch of the divine court more. You guys, it's over. The demon sovereign activated the sage artifact saber again. As the golden fiend god roared, the demonic god, great Tao's might rose again. Rumble. The chaotic golden fiend god roared and shot out endless light of the great Tao. Everywhere it passed, the four half-sages retreated. The sage artifact couldn't withstand its sharpness. Buzz! Suddenly, a boundless power came from the depths of the primal chaos. Two figures with immortal light shot toward the demon sovereign one after the other. Immortal spirits. Taking this opportunity, the four celestial thearchs raised their sage artifacts again, and their saintly might suppressed the primal chaos and restricted the demon sovereign. The wondrous seven treasures tree, the clear sky sacred sword, the red embroidered ball, the bell of chaos, and the supreme saintly power surrounded the demon sovereign. Chapter 8:13. Although they weren't as strong as the monster emperor, they were still stronger than the four heavenly emperors. They didn't have any sage artifacts, but they were only weaker than the heavenly emperors. 6 half-sages surrounded them, and 4 sage artifacts sealed the chaos. The monster emperor couldn't dodge. The chaotic golden fiend celestial and chaotic golden crow released their divine might. Rumble. The combined might of 4 half-sages was so strong that even a sage who had just reached the Tao would be flustered. The immortal light engulfed the 2 demon gods and shattered their phantoms. The 6 half-sages retreated at the same time with cold expressions. Dongwang Changyue has no chance of escaping this time. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor sneered. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor said, 6 half-sages sent him to his death. He is the first person since the ancient era. An incarnation is already so strong. His main body is probably infinitely close to the ancient era, maybe even reaching the Tao. The half-sage's expression was cold. Just the incarnation alone required 6 half-saints and 4 sage artifacts. His might was terrifying. Even the ancient era's moon god is only SOSO, another half-sage said. Looks like you've fought with the ancient era's gods many times. The beast emperor looked at the 2 half-sage. The half-sage sneered. How can you imagine the foundation of a celestial spirit? Rumble. All of a sudden, a loud explosion rang out. Yellow light shot up from the boundless sea of immortal power, shaking the chaos within 10,000 miles. Yellow energy descended. The monster emperor stood with his hands behind his back, allowing the immortal power to wash over him. Yellow exquisite pagoda. The 6 half-sages exclaimed at the same time. Didn't this sage artifact escape? Why was it on the monster emperor? I've disappointed the 6 of you. Although I don't have a sage artifact, my subordinates do. The monster sovereign had a proud look on his face as he channeled his godly power into the pagoda, causing it to emit a boundless amount of heaven and earth chi. With me standing here, which one of you can harm even a single hair on me? Kill. The beast emperor was furious. He took out the bell of chaos and charged forward. Rumble. Terrifying immortal power descended and the power of the sage artifact spread, but the barrier was as steady as Mount Tai and didn't budge at all. The sage saber slashed, and the demon emperor was sent flying again. His huge body tumbled into chaos. The other 3 celestial emperors attacked at the same time, wanting to join forces to shake the pagoda. The other two half-saints followed closely behind. Black and yellow energy surged and radiated for tens of thousands of zhong. The pagoda floated above his head, and the black and yellow energy surged. Rumble. A cold light pierced through the chi of heaven and earth. However, it was already incredibly weak. It could not even break through the defenses of the demon sovereign. The holy saber swept out with a vast divine might, forcing the 5 half-sages to retreat at the same time, not daring to clash head-on. Is that all you can do after joining hands? Then don't blame me for making you stay. The demon emperor sneered and took the lead to attack the 2 half-saint immortal spirits. The defensive treasure above his head was the worldly mystic yellow exquisite pagoda, and the sage artifact saber in his hand contained boundless might. Kill! The 6 half-sages roared furiously. The might of the sage saber could not break the defense of the mysterious yellow pagoda. Do your best! The demon emperor's saber light swept over and forced back the 6 half-saints. Although the 6 half-saints could block the Saint Saber's attack, they couldn't break the mysterious yellow pagoda and hurt the monster monarch. If this went on, they would either have to fight a war of attrition, or the monster monarch would find an opportunity to kill them one by one. Everyone help me! The monster monarch roared. The chaos turned into a sky full of stars. A profound sage artifact unleashed its divine might. The river diagram in Luo Shu. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor exclaimed. The monster monarch had already obtained this sage artifact. Rumor had it that the heavenly cycle star array was comprehended from the river diagram in Luo Shu. With this sage artifact, the power of the heavenly cycle star array would be extremely terrifying. Dongwang Zhangyue, I'll kill you today. The monster monarch roared. He would be able to prove his Tao by killing him. This is your trump card? The monster monarch sneered and withdrew his sage artifact. A torrential, baleful aura and terrifying killing intent surged. Let's see who will be the strongest killing array. Overwhelming killing intent. 4 divine swords appeared in the starry sky like divine mountains. An array diagram controlled the 4 swords and spread them across the starry sky. It's not copper, iron, or steel. It was once hidden under Mount Meru. If I don't reverse yin and yang, won't it be tempered by water and fire? Exterminating immortal sharp, slaughtering immortal dead, trapping immortal red. Exterminating immortal transforms infinitely wondrous, staining the clothes of the great Luo immortals. An ancient Tao voice resounded. The number 1 killing array of the heaven realm had appeared once again after the ancient times. The monster monarch stepped onto the exterminating immortal array diagram and looked at the 6 half-sages. Exterminating immortal 4 swords. The monster monarch's pupil shrank. Damn, isn't this a little unreasonable? They have a mysterious yellow pagoda for defense and the number 1 killing array, exterminating immortal 4 swords for offense. If they were alone, they wouldn't be able to fight. The monster monarch's eyes were cold as his body dissipated. I'll see if your exterminating immortal 4 swords or my heavenly cycle star array is stronger. Then watch carefully. Exterminating immortal, rise. The monster monarch moved his finger, and the exterminating immortal sword rose from the ground like an ancient divine mountain and crashed into the endless starry sky. The sharp exterminating immortal sword released endless sword chi. Wherever the sword chi passed, the void cracked and stars exploded. Kill! The 6 half-sages roared in unison as they activated the heavenly cycle stellar formation. Countless stars gathered together and smashed towards the demon emperor. Exterminating immortal, rise. The divine mountain rose again. Wherever the exterminating immortal passed, the starry sky was destroyed. The sword froze the void, and blood flowed like a river of stars. A half-sage howled in pain as his body fell from the void. The exterminating immortal had pierced through his body. Seems like you guys aren't much. Exterminating immortal. The array diagram expanded, and endless killing intent filled every corner of the starry sky. The exterminating immortal had endless changes. In the starry sky, Thousands of sword chi evolved into endless killing intent. The stars were shattering and the starry sky was dimming. The red light dyed the starry sky. The exterminating immortal was at its end. Red light and blood light. The number one killing array of the heaven realm had shattered the heavenly cycle star array. Monster Monarch, you are far from it. The monster monarch was disdainful. He had faced the heavenly cycle star array countless times. Without the primordial monster monarch, no one can play with this star array. The monster monarch roared and blocked the endless sword chi. The exterminating immortal four swords cut through the starry sky and shattered the stars. The exterminating immortal sword array was said to be unbreakable except for the four sages. The exterminating immortal sword array was not a match for the monster monarch's half-baked star array. The stars shattered and painful growls resounded. The monster monarch stepped into the starry sky. Thousands of sword chi fell, and the killing intent crushed the immortal spirit's immortal blood. The star array could not withstand the power of the exterminating immortal. 5 half-sages appeared. The exterminating immortal sword swept across, and the sage artifacts dodged, not daring to block the exterminating immortal sharpness. The chaotic chi poured into this place, but they had been sealed by the exterminating immortal four swords. It was impossible to escape into the chaos. The aura of despair shrouded them. The four sage artifacts could not block the exterminating immortal four swords. The monster monarch raised the sage artifact long sword again. The golden fiend roared and suppressed the starry sky. The great Tao of metal was incomparably sharp and indestructible. Slash! With a cold shout, the divine sword slashed down, and the second half-sage immortal spirit died. The power of heaven was added to the body. The heavenly Tao could already envelop this place and give him the power of heaven. 500,000 essence, chi, and spirit entered his account. Of the remaining 4 celestial emperors, only the celestial emperor of the heavenly court was guilty and could be exchanged for the power of heaven. The sage artifact, long sword, directly enveloped the heavenly emperor. Chapter 8:14. Amidst the chaos, 6 half-saints besieged him. In the heaven realm, countless armies and immortal spirits attacked the Holy Land. The 3 peaks celestial venerables activated celestial venerable Zhun Xian's Earth Book to protect the Holy Land. With the existence of the Book of the Earth, the 3 heavenly courts, heavenly soldiers, could not break his defense at all. Even a peak immortal venerable could not do it. In the starry sky, 2 immortal spirits died one after the other. A portion of the half-saint celestial blood was not completely destroyed. Instead, it was secretly taken away by the heavenly Tao and used in the celestial world. The 4 half-sage immortal emperors vomited blood, and the demon emperor pushed his immortal power to the limit. Everyone, help me! The 3 great heavenly emperors bellowed, the might of the holy artifact supporting the demon emperors. The spirit demon emperor's expression did not change. The 4 celestial execution swords rose again. The saint-level long saber slashed through the starry sky, complementing the 4 celestial execution swords. The demon emperor borrowed the might of the 3 heavenly emperors to break through the limit and shake thousands of miles. The demon sovereign was slightly startled and snorted coldly. The 4 immortal exterminating swords actually gave up on the demon sovereign and attacked the heavenly court's heavenly sovereign. This was a notice from the heavenly Tao, leaving behind the demon emperor. Boom! The beast emperor let out a long roar as his immortal power surged out. The immortal slaying sword formation tore open, allowing the beast emperor, the immortal court, and the god court celestial emperors to enter it at the same time. The celestial emperor of the heavenly court looked astonished. What the F*CK was going on? The 4 immortal execution swords pierced through his body. The wondrous tree of 7 treasures emitted immortal light, but it escaped into the primal chaos and disappeared. You've been tricked. Can't you see that? The demon emperor sighed. The heavenly emperor of the heavenly court had already been abandoned. The heavenly court's heavenly emperor looked incredulously at the three people and the wondrous tree of 7 treasures as they left. The 4 swords stirred, and the vitality dissipated. The immortal slaughtering sword tore through space and followed the 3 heavenly emperors. Boom! A roar of pain resounded. The immortal court's heavenly emperor was beheaded by the immortal slaughtering sword. At this moment, the heavenly Tao sect helped the demon emperors suppress the power of the sage artifacts, making it almost impossible for them to resist. The demon emperor brought the heavenly emperor's corpse back to the heaven realm. All of the immortal blood here would be used by the heavenly Tao to repair the heavenly realm. The Zhuxian formation diagram enveloped the heaven realm. Killing intent surged, stirring up the heavenly emperor. The remaining 2 sky emperors' expressions changed on the spot. In the next instant, the protection of the power of heaven made their taut hearts relax. When the immortal slaying sword chi landed, it was guided by the heavenly Tao. Any immortal spirit or mutated immortal spirit would not be able to escape death. Be it celestial immortals or immortal paragons, none of them could withstand the immortal slaying sword chi. The demon emperor stood in the sky, feeling the growth of the heavenly energy in his body, calculating how much essence, chi, and soul he would have. This time, the heavenly court's heavenly Dharch had returned, and there were even 2 half-saint immortal spirits. Clearly, he wanted to annihilate the Holy Land in one fell swoop, slay the demon emperor, and allow the heavenly Dharch to attain the Tao. However, they did not expect that the demon emperor still had 2 sage artifacts with him. He had not even used the reincarnation disc. A primal chaos holy sword appeared in the demon emperor's hand. It was obtained from killing the heavenly emperor, refined from the bones of chaotic divine demons. Arriving at the moon star, the demon sovereign guided the power of the moon and sealed the celestial Thearcha's body in ice, sealing it within the moon. This could be considered as giving Yu Shui an explanation. The power of heaven increased rapidly. Where the Holy Land was, the immortals and gods of the 3 courts retreated like the tide. None of the celestial sovereigns of the heavenly court's celestial emperors survived. When he returned to the Holy Land, the 3 immortal venerables hurriedly came to welcome him. Demon Sovereign, what's the result? Sun Wushu asked first. The 2 from the heavenly court and the celestial court have already died. There are still 2 half-saint immortal spirits left. The demon emperor said indifferently. After this, the demon court and the celestial court should know their place for a while. The demon emperor is invincible. Why didn't the heavenly Tao choose the demon emperor and the celestial Dharch? Sun Wushu sighed. Because I will eventually step into the chaos and leave the heavenly realm. The demon emperor sighed. The heavenly Tao wanted to choose a celestial Dharch who would develop in the heavenly realm for a long time. This was why the heavenly Tao did not choose him. If he was willing, the heavenly Tao would choose him to merge with the Tao, just like Tao ancestor Hongjun back then, the teacher of all saints. Huaba Mountain will always follow the demon emperor, Sun Wushu said solemnly. The demon emperor smiled. All right, I will bring you to find heaven's equal. The most unforgettable person in Huaba Mountain was heaven's equal. Heaven's equal's appearance was the birth of the ape god of Huaba Mountain. If not for heaven's equal, they would forever be small demons. But now the most important thing is to build the Holy Land. Venerable Zhen Xian stroked his beard. I have decided to move the sect into the Holy Land in the future. I have the same idea, Venerable Penglai said. The Holy Land was too suitable for them. They did not need to pursue the heavenly Tao and only needed to comprehend it. They did not need to do good and evil, heaven's power, and slaying demons. The demon emperor smiled. Don't worry, the Holy Land will exist forever. After talking with them for a while, the demon emperor came to the barrier and transferred the heaven's power to his body. This time, he obtained 30 million essence, and the heavenly Tao rewarded him with another 3 million essence, making a total of 33 million. He was still far from perfecting the mystic art. The demon emperor pondered and said, I think we can go to the chaos. The remaining two celestial thearchs did not dare to act rashly for the time being. The heavenly realm was temporarily safe. They could go to the chaos and look for celestial essences. I have the same idea. How about we go together? Venerable Zhen Xian asked. Sure. Venerable Peng Lai and Sun Wushu smiled. We will catch some celestial essences for the Demon Emperor. Together? Demon Emperor asked. Let's go together. The Demon Emperor travels alone. We are only going to look for celestial essences and record their location. The Demon Emperor can chase after the tributary of time, Venerable Zhen Xian said. The Demon Emperor nodded. All right. With the Chaos Compass, we can contact each other at any time. The Demon Emperor was still worried after the three celestial venerables left. He left a divine power barrier to protect the Holy Land. This barrier was enough to stop ordinary half-sages. If there was trouble, he could come back. He temporarily borrowed the immortal exterminating four swords and the mysterious yellow pagoda. These two weapons were more useful than the reincarnation disc. Sun Wuxuan was in seclusion in the Holy Land. He was breaking through to the immortal venerable realm. The Demon Emperor was not in a hurry to leave. He first contacted the Heavenly Tao in the Holy Saint Temple. I plan to go deep into the chaos. The situation in the heavenly realm will be stable for now. The Demon Ancestor's voice came. Demon Ancestor? The Demon Emperor was stunned. Why is it you? The Heavenly Tao Sage entrusted his soul to the Heavenly Tao. Now that Hong Jun is not here, we can only rely on the Heavenly Tao Sage. The Demon Ancestor said calmly. The Heavenly Tao still needs to stabilize the heavenly realm. It will be easier to rely on the Heavenly Tao Sage. Then, I will have to trouble the Demon Ancestor to protect the heavenly realm. When I return from the chaos, I will clean up the remaining immortal spirits. Jiang Changkong said. The Demon Ancestor was expressionless. If the heavenly realm is in trouble, the old ancestor will find you immediately. We cannot let them know that the old ancestor has broken the seal. Demon Ancestor, the heavenly Tao can't release the main body. The Demon Emperor frowned. As long as the main body comes out, everything will be much easier. No, your main body cannot come out for the time being. This is also a form of protection for you. Remember, the immortal spirits can be killed, but don't underestimate them. Be careful not to provoke the primordial chaos sage. The Demon Ancestor's expression became serious. The Demon Emperor's brows twitched. There are primordial chaos sages in the immortal spirits? Then why don't they appear? Back then, Hotu injured them. Although the old ancestor is sealed, his aura is still there. Before they recover from their injuries, they do not dare to enter the heavenly realm. The Demon Ancestor looked slightly proud. As long as you do not run in front of them, there should be no danger. Chapter 8:15. In the heaven realm, the Demon Ancestor would handle in secret, so there wouldn't be a problem. With the Demon Ancestor's methods, it wouldn't be a problem to contact him in the chaos. Even if he couldn't, he could let the people in the Holy Land contact him. The Demon Emperor entered the chaos and came to the place where the Chaos Bone Dragon was sealed. The Jade token shone, and the Chaos Bone Dragon appeared. The Demon Emperor's speed far exceeded that of the Chaos Bone Dragon, but he didn't know the path that the Chaos Bone Dragon took, so he could only let him walk by himself. The Chaos Bone Dragon didn't go to the place he went before and change directions. The Demon Emperor rode the Bone Dragon wherever he went. On Mount Buzhou, the four races often went down to ask about the heaven realm and started to waver. The Demon Emperor worked with the immortal spirits again to destroy the Holy Land and kill the Demon Emperor. Working with the immortal spirits was a taboo. The four races also believed everything about the Holy Land and started to gather resources to build the Holy Land. The Demon Emperor's journey lasted for an entire month. Rumble. On this day, the weather changed. A blood pool filled the sky, and a torrential blood energy covered the peak of Mount Buzhou. Cracks appeared on the three blood balls, and low roars sounded out as they charged out of the blood pool. The immortals of the four races hurried over with excited expressions. Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly. He felt a trace of a bloodline connection within the blood ball. It was very weak, but very real. Rip! The blood ball split open and a hand reached out. A strong blood energy fluctuation spread out, and there was also a thick aura of laws. The hand tore the blood ball apart, and the crack widened. It crawled out and rolled into the blood pool. It was a man with a python head and a human body. He was covered in black scales and stood on a black dragon with a green python coiled around his hand. The man soaked in the blood pool and looked at the four races and Jiang Chongkong in a daze. "You don't have any memories?" Jiang Chongkong frowned. The man shook his python head and climbed out of the blood pool. "Mount Buzhou, Jiang Chongkong. It seems like you have memories." Jiang Chongkong heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't need to teach him slowly. The man's strength was not bad. He was at the limit of an immortal venerable, following which living beings climbed out of the other two blood balls. One had a beast head and human body. His body was covered in red scales. His ears were pierced with fire snakes, and he stood on a fire dragon. The other one had a snake in his mouth and a snake in his hand. He had the head of a tiger and the body of a human. He had 4 hooves and long elbows. Water, fire, and thunder ancestral sorcerer bloodlines don't have any malevolent aura. Ao Jin was pleasantly surprised. The 3 peak immortal venerables had blood chi like divine dragons. Moreover, there was actually no baleful aura on their bodies. Lord Hutu has used the power of reincarnation in Jiang Chongkong's blood to wash away the murderous aura. "We're the new magi." The water shaman who came out first bowed slightly and said, "I am the water shaman, a new shaman who controls the water veins. The fire shaman commands the fire veins. The thunder shaman commands the lightning meridian. The 3 of us were born in accordance with the laws of the heavenly Tao. In the future, we can also cultivate the great Tao and attain primordial chaos. Congratulations to the 3 of you." Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands. "We still have to thank you, Senior. Without your divine blood, we wouldn't have been able to successfully conceive," the 3 great sorcerer clans said at the same time. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand and said, "There's no need to be so polite. I owe you. Are there only 3 lineages of the newly born magi?" The thunder shaman replied, "Yes, there are only 3 branches of the sorcerer tribe. The other clansmen still need to be nurtured, and their strength is inferior to ours. You've just been born, so I won't disturb you any longer." Jiang Chongkong nodded, turned around, and left. The 4 tribes also left one after another. The 3 shamans guarded the blood pool and waited for more shamans to be born. The sorcerer tribe was reborn. Jiang Chongkong decided that he would return the reincarnation plate to the sorcerer tribe when the demon emperor returned. On the other side, the demon emperor was still on his way. Venerable Zhen Xian and the other 2 had already gone deep into the chaos and caught some immortal spirits. This made Jiang Chongkong very happy. He wished that the immortal sovereign of Mount Buzhou could leave as well. Unfortunately, he still couldn't get out. In the chaos, another month passed, and the chaos skeletal dragon stopped. The demon emperor's divine power spread out, and in the midst of the chaos, a pure white flower appeared. Another fairy? The spirit demon emperor kept the bone dragon, walked to the flower, and gently touched it. Buzz! Primal chaos rippled, and a vortex appeared. The demon emperor stepped into it, and it was a small world. In the complete small world, there were chaos beasts and ancient immortal god bloodlines. The divine power spread out, and the strongest was only a late-stage immortal sovereign. The sun divine fire spread out, enveloping the entire small world. With a thought, all the chaos beasts were collected. The immortals were terrified. The chaos beasts were suddenly gone. A furious roar sounded, but what welcomed them was a chaos golden crow. A chaos golden crow that far surpassed ordinary half-sages. The chaos golden crow cried, and the fiend god Dao's might enveloped. Those below the immortal sovereign realm couldn't even withstand the divine might, and those below the immortal emperor realm died directly. Evil creature. The late-stage immortal sovereign was terrified, but he had nowhere to run. He could only fight with his life. The demon emperor looked at him coldly, and a golden divine fire directly evaporated this immortal sovereign, only keeping his resources. The chaos beasts and resources were left behind by the demon emperor. The small world began to collapse, and the void distorted and shattered. Endless chaotic aura entered this world. The remnant power of time was touched, and the scene of the past was revealed. This is the moon god. The demon emperor looked at the image. This time, it wasn't the immortal spirits attacking the descendants of the ancient immortals, but the figures of the ancient immortals. These immortals created the world and didn't let the descendants of the ancient immortals stay. They often went out to search for things in the chaos. No one knew how long they searched for, but it seemed like they spent a lot of time. Until one day, the moon goddess Nuwa returned. She brought back a river, and the immortals were overjoyed. No one knew what they found in the river, but they all left this place. That is a tributary of time? The demon emperor muttered to himself. Where did the tributary of time come from? Was it left behind by Hutu and the ancient immortals? He looked at the image. The ancient immortals had all left, and he thought that it was over. However, the power of time hadn't completely dissipated. The power of time still enveloped this empty world. After an unknown period of time, a figure descended. Hutu. Hutu had been here before, and the reincarnation disk shook and appeared. A beam of light flew out from Hutu's illusory figure and landed on the reincarnation disk. The demon emperor looked at the light, which emitted a unique immortal aura. It was different from the heaven realm, and it was similar to an immortal spirit, but also different. The light was restrained, and it was a golden fragment. He didn't know what material it was made of, but the demon emperor felt that he could easily crush it. Why did Hutu leave this thing behind? The demon emperor put away the golden fragment and left. The scene had already ended. He took out the bone dragon, and the golden fragment flew up automatically and entered the bone dragon's glabella. The chaos bone dragon's body had a hint of gold as it charged forward at full speed. The demon emperor started to count his harvest. There were 4 immortal supreme-level chaos beasts, 100 immortal emperors, 350 immortal kings, and 400 immortal lords. The harvest is quite big. The chaos beasts are still the best. If I come a few more times, I will have hope of reaching primordial chaos. The demon emperor suppressed all these chaos beasts into the reincarnation disk. These could be exchanged for 5 million essence, energy, and spirit. Because the chaos bone dragon had fused with the golden fragment, its speed also increased, almost doubling. Another half a month passed. Celestial Supremacy Zhenxian and the other 2 also destroyed a few worlds and gained a lot. The demon emperor calculated silently. At this rate, he would soon, just as he was thinking, a golden ancient path blocked the way in front of him. The unique immortal aura was exactly the same as the fragment. Chapter 8:16. Dozens of immortal emperors were carefully knocking on the ancient road. They used all their strength to knock out a small golden fragment. The golden fragment was exactly the same as the one that the bone dragon had fused with. The demon sovereign's eyes were filled with astonishment. This fragment was knocked down from this ancient path. These immortals were all immortal spirits. He could feel the special ethereal aura from their bodies. They kept the fragments and used their immortal power to nourish them. Occasionally, they would absorb the fingernail-sized fragments into their bodies. After absorbing the fragments, their auras would become more ethereal, and their immortal power and might would also increase. This thing can be used to improve myself. Monster Emperor's eyes flickered. Since that was the case, he wondered if it could be converted into essence, energy, and spirit. If he could convert it, then he would be able to speed up his Tao proving technique. The golden ancient road led to an unknown place. It was covered by chaos, and he couldn't see the end. God power spread over, and the bodies of the dozens of immortal emperors stiffened. Their expressions were filled with fear. The divine power of a half-step saint firmly imprisoned them. Monster Emperor appeared and suppressed all the immortal emperors. 53 of them. He searched their spatial equipment and found many golden fragments. This is the source of the immortal spirit's transformation. Monster Emperor pressed his hand on the golden ancient road and used all his strength to barely make a palm-sized fragment. He took out the execution of Immortal's 4 swords and slashed on the ancient road. Sparks flew and golden lights scattered. A stone was cut off. It was a meter long. Divine artifacts are still the best. Monster Emperor kept the execution of Immortal's 4 swords, as expected of a number 1 killing weapon in Heaven Realm. He took out the immortal spirit's spatial ring and kept all the golden fragments. There were some messy things in the ring, immortal herbs, ores, and so on. What is this? A piece of skin appeared in Monster Emperor's hand. It was the skin of a chaos beast with a blood pool drawn on it. He thought of the chaos beast that failed to transform. It was also transforming in the blood pool. It was its main body that interrupted its transformation. Building a blood pool and using the golden fragments could transform into a mortal spirit. He kept the beast skin. He could let others try in the future. The Chaos Bone Dragon brought him here, but he didn't find any remnant power of time. Could it be that the tributary of time was on this golden stone path? Boom! Chaos surged and immortal light shone. There were also immortal spirits knocking on the ancient road. The demon sovereign wanted to merge with the primordial chaos, but discovered that he was unable to do so in the vicinity of the ancient path. He could only move forward. With the 4 celestial slaying swords in hand, he was fearless. Passing through the chaos, there was another group of fairies. Who are you? Seeing the demon emperor appear, the immortal spirits were first shocked. Then they were filled with killing intent. This was a group of immortal spirits at the peak of the immortal emperor realm, and there were a total of 26 of them. Someone who destroyed immortal spirits. The demon emperor said indifferently. His divine power was like a waterfall, wrapping around the immortal spirit and throwing it into the reincarnation wheel. Walking on the ancient path, they would encounter celestial spirits after a certain distance. The strength of the celestial spirits was also gradually increasing. They were all knocking on the ancient road to obtain the golden shards. Rumble. Suddenly, a boundless celestial light appeared in front of them, and the pressure of a half-saint swept over. A half-saint celestial soul pierced through the chaos and charged over. The demon sovereign pointed out with a finger, and the samsara wheel descended. The might of a sage artifact suppressed a half-step sage. The aura of the heaven realm. A series of voices could be heard coming from the chaos, followed by streams of sacred aura. The demon emperor's expression hardened as his godly powers surged. You really have quite a lot of immortal essences. Come out and die then. Kill. A series of furious roars sounded. The chaos in the sky above the ancient path interwove into a profound, immortal formation and pressed down. There were a total of 10 half-step sage celestial souls. Some of these immortal essences had sage artifacts, and some were barehanded. Their auras were dense, even stronger than the 2 heavenly emperors who were supporting them. Heaven Realm's Dongwang Changwe, killing intent surged in the eyes of a half-step sage. His sage artifact soared into the sky, and the figure of a chaotic demon god appeared, shaking the chaos. Since you know my name, you should know that it's time for you to die. Monstrous killing intent enveloped the ancient path. The immortal execution 4 swords sealed the chaos, and the immortal execution array froze everything within 10,000 miles. The immortal execution rose, and the immortal slayer died. The red light of the immortal trapping slash was sharp. The immortal extermination slash was ever-changing, and it was hard to predict and defend against it. The chaotic demon god roared and blocked the immortal execution sword. The chaotic golden crow appeared, and its might wasn't any weaker than the chaotic demon god. Although it couldn't compare to the real chaotic demon god, it couldn't fully unleash the power of the demon god's corpse. The immortal execution sword destroyed the chaotic demon god's figure, and the other 3 swords killed the half-step sage artifacts. The full power of the demon god far surpassed the group of half-step sages. The blood of the half-step sage immortal essences scattered in the chaos, and the demon emperor let them live. Wherever the four swords passed, cracks appeared on the ancient path, and many fragments flew out. The heaven and earth exquisite pagoda floated above his head, and he was already in an invincible position. With the two supreme treasures working together, the 10 half-step sages were like lambs waiting for death. They only knew how terrifying the demon emperor was when facing him. If he came out with his true body, he could probably wipe out this group of half-step sages without using the sword array. After suppressing the 10 half-step sages, the demon emperor continued forward. Along the way, he suppressed all the immortal essences he needed. He didn't know how far he went, but he could no longer see the immortal essences. The demon emperor left the ancient path and began to search nearby. Since this was the source of the immortal essences transformation, they shouldn't be too far away. Celestial supremacy, Zhen Xian and the others had also captured many immortal essences. In the chaos, immortal array patterns intertwined. The demon emperor directly tore the immortal array apart and searched for immortal essences. The sages were injured, and they still didn't dare to come out, so he had nothing to worry about. Even if the sages came out, he still had the 12 ancestral magus trees and activated the great divine fiend array. The immortal array was torn apart, and there was a small world hidden inside where the immortal essences lived. Divine power spread in and sealed all the immortal essences into the reincarnation disk. The immortal essences roared in fear and pushed their immortal power to the extreme, but they couldn't break the demon emperor's divine power. The demon emperor only realized how terrifying immortal essences were after capturing immortal essences in the chaos. He didn't know how many immortal arrays there were, but if he destroyed one, he could always find another. And in the heaven realm, something happened again. The ancient immortals returned to the heaven realm. They chose to support the celestial arch and the demon emperor and planned to destroy the Holy Land. The demon ancestor sent a notice, and the demon emperor had to give up this operation and return to the heaven realm. He had gained a lot this time, and should be able to exchange for more than 100 million essence, energy, and spirit. In addition, there were also the 3 immortals. With the help of the Chaos Compass, the demon emperor rushed back at full speed. The heaven realm was in turmoil again. With the support of the ancient immortals, the 2 celestial thearchs burst with ambition again. Venerable Jinshuan and the other 2 had already rushed back. It was already a month later when the demon emperor stepped into the heaven realm. The flames of war in the heaven realm were ignited, and the celestial arch of the divine court and the demon emperor were fighting. The demon emperor was stunned. Why did you call me back in such a situation? They were fighting their own battles, not attacking the Holy Land. We still need them to attract immortal essences. Who will attract the immortal essences over if they win? The demon ancestor said sinisterly, "Go stop them and help the demon emperor. If you want immortal essences, just go to the chaos and catch them yourself." The demon emperor said indifferently, "I caught a lot this time. So many immortal essences. Where did you catch them from?" The demon ancestor was shocked. "You didn't meet the sages among the immortal essences?" A golden ancient road. Chapter 8:17. The demon ancestor frowned. "That's not right. That place is already the base of the celestial spirits. There should be sages stationed there. How can you capture so many celestial spirits and be fine?" "I'm not sure about that. Perhaps the sage of the celestial spirit is not here." The demon emperor said, "Consider yourself lucky. Hurry up and stop them." The demon ancestor said indifferently, "Isn't it better for you to enter the primal chaos, to capture them, and return to the heaven realm to clean them up? But this exalted one doesn't like cleaning up ancient era's immortal gods." The demon emperor sighed softly. He killed all the immortal spirits and converted them into heaven's power. He sent them to Mount Bujo and tore open space to search for the 2 heavenly emperors. 2 heavenly emperors were currently fighting in the primal chaos, fighting fiercely. They could not defeat the demon king, so they could only choose another method, which was to determine the winner and the loser and prove their Tao first. The demon sovereign did not conceal himself. Wherever the vast devil god's divine might passed, the two heavenly emperors separated at the same time. Dongwang Changwei, what are you doing here? The demon emperor asked coldly. The divine court's celestial emperor's face darkened. I didn't do anything to your holy land. My good brother, I'm here to help you. The demon emperor chuckled and thrust his palm toward the heavenly emperor of the divine court. Dongwang Zhanyue, the celestial emperor of the divine court, was furious. He said coldly, If I die and the monster the arch proves his Tao, will I spare you? A strange look flashed in the monster monarch's eyes as he charged toward the divine court, celestial emperor with the bell of chaos. I will definitely tolerate my second brother in the sacred land. The demon emperor raised his left palm and struck towards the demon emperor. Boom! The two celestial emperors were sent flying at the same time, the blood of the half-sage sprinkling all over the primal chaos. Dongwang Zhanyue, what is the meaning of this? The demon the arch roared furiously as his body trembled. Didn't you agree to help me deal with the divine court's celestial emperor? In the end, you even hit me? What do you mean? The divine court's heavenly emperor sneered. Dongwang Changyue, I knew you wouldn't be so kind. Once the victor was decided and the only celestial emperor was chosen, after confirming the Tao, how could they tolerate the demon emperor and the holy land? Since all of you understand this in your hearts, then you should know that I won't let you decide the victor. The demon emperor said coldly, As for the ancient immortals that returned from chaos, I will help you deal with them. Dongwang Zhanyue, who do you think you are? Heavenly Law? The ruler of the heaven realm? The demon emperor's expression was ferocious, and his eyes were filled with ferocity. The celestial arch would become a demon emperor? The demon emperor could kill whoever he wanted? The celestial emperor of the divine court said coldly, The bloodline of an ancient immortal god is not an immortal spirit. Even if we kill them, it will only cause more harm than good. You don't have to worry about that. I can kill whoever I want. Heaven can control you, but it can't control me. The demon emperor said in disdain, You better know your place. Otherwise, don't blame me for sealing you. The two heavenly emperors were enraged to the extreme, wishing that they could pounce on him and tear him to pieces. All right, you can return to your own territory and reflect on your mistakes in seclusion. The demon emperor waved his hand as if he was talking to two juniors. The two heavenly emperors were furious but had no choice and could only leave with their tails between their legs. The hatred in their hearts grew deeper. On the day they achieved their Tao, they would not let the demon king and his real body off. The humiliation he had suffered during this period of time would definitely be repaid in double. Back in the heaven realm, the demon emperor used the 4 immortal execution swords again. Endless killing intent enveloped the heaven realm. Under the guidance of the demon ancestor, all the sword chi killed the ancient bloodline. The demon emperor sat in the holy saint temple and curled his lips. Demon ancestor, you are really not a good friend. You let me take all the blame. Of course, there will be benefits for you. Even an immortal god with an ancient bloodline will give you a part of the reward, the demon ancestor said indifferently. The demon emperor's expression softened. I wonder how long it will take for the demon ancestor to completely break the seal and recover his strength. There is still a period of time. You don't have to worry. The ancestor will not attack you. After saying that, the demon ancestor disappeared and left the Holy Land. Not long after, Venerable Zhen Xian and the other 2 heavenly emperors arrived and handed the immortal spirits they had captured to the demon emperor. The demon emperor took the immortal spirits and turned them into the power of heaven. The corpses were casually buried in the heaven realm, and the heavenly Tao would convert the energy in the corpses to repair the heaven realm. 3 immortal venerables. Can you see these things? The demon emperor took out the golden fragment. This time he had brought back a lot. Unfortunately, it could not be converted into essence, chi, and spirit. Venerable Zhen Xian held the golden fragment and carefully examined it for a while. He shook his head. I can't see anything special about it. Sun Wushu and Venerable Penglai could not see it either. This was brought out from the chaos near the lair of the immortal spirits. After the demon emperor told them about the matter, the three immortal venerables' expressions gradually became serious. Since it was the source of the immortal spirit's transformation, it should be something extraordinary. Part of it was given to them to study for themselves. The demon emperor pondered for a moment and contacted the demon ancestor to ask about this matter. There is no need to ask the ancestor about this matter. The ancestor has always been sealed and does not know, said the demon ancestor calmly. The demon emperor could only put away the golden fragment. It would not be too late to study it after going to the chaos realm. After the ancient immortal god bloodline was cleaned up, the heavenly Tao also gave a reward of 10 million essence, qi, and spirit. In Buzhou Mountain, Jiang Changkong counted his harvest this time. In total, he had 200 million essence, qi, and spirit. After another trip to the chaos realm, he would almost be able to perfect his mystic art or Tao body. The Tao validation was right in front of him. As long as he could prove his Tao, this Buzhou Mountain should not be able to trap him. The three immortal venerables entered the chaos realm, and the demon emperor went deep into the chaos realm, heading toward the ancient path. The strength of a peak immortal venerable was still a little weak against an immortal spirit. The two immortal emperors temporarily knew their place and did not need to worry about the heavenly realm. Coming to the golden ancient road again, the demon emperor started to search for the nearby immortal arrays. He tore apart the immortal arrays and captured immortal spirits and chaos beasts. Some of them were transforming. Just as he had guessed, he built the blood pool and used the golden fragment to transform. The demon emperor pondered. It seemed like Hutu knew the origin of the immortal spirits, but he could not destroy them. The demon ancestor said that there were sages in the immortal spirits. It should be because Hutu could not destroy the immortal spirits, so they were not completely destroyed. He captured immortal spirits and chaos beasts in the world and suppressed them into the reincarnation wheel and sealed them. He tore apart the immortal arrays again, and divine power surged into the world. However, the bone-chilling cold energy froze the divine power. Moon aura. The demon emperor was slightly stunned. This familiar aura was the moon goddess. The moon goddess came to the immortal spirit's nest? Was this really the path that the ancient immortals took to leave? The immortal spirits inside had all died, but he still collected their corpses. The heavenly Tao could also make use of the fallen immortal spirits. He tore apart the immortal arrays one after another. The moon goddess' cold energy increased and froze the entire world. Moon goddess, you're making my Tao-proving guide a long and arduous journey. The demon emperor sighed and continued to search for immortal spirits. A few days later, the demon emperor suppressed countless immortal spirits and went deep into the immortal spirit's nest. A majestic power came from afar. The demon emperor hurried over. The moon goddess's aura was very strong. In the depths of the immortal spirit's nest, half-sages fought. The moon goddess waved her hand and scattered thousands of moonlight essence. Her body turned into the moon goddess and froze the chaos for thousands of miles. The sage artifact slashed down and the demon god roared. A half-sage immortal spirit. The chaos shook and the moon goddess was injured. Silver blood fell and the ice-sealing immortal array fell. Since the main body is left, what is the point of keeping this remnant soul? Die. The demon god's fists smashed down and the great Tao surged out. The moon great Tao surpassed the laws and surpassed everything. The power of a half-sage blocked the demon god. Chapter 8:18. Rumble. The demonic god great Tao and the half-sage moon deity clashed, and the moon deity was defeated. The white-robed figure fell into the chaos, crushing the immortal array and shattering the world. The half-sage immortal spirit raised the devil's saint weapon once again and slashed down, accompanied by flames. Rumble. The primal chaos was torn apart, and monstrous killing intent surged forth. For killing swords, one in front and one behind, collided with the demonic divine weapon, and 3 swords pierced the immortal spirit. The 3 swords stirred, and the half-sage exploded. Countless pieces of flesh fell, and only his head remained intact. Dong Wang Zhanyue. A cold roar came from the half-stepped saint's head. It was filled with rage. Demon Emperor? The moon goddess looked at him in surprise. She did not expect that the demon emperor would appear here. The demon sovereign suppressed the head of the half-sage and kept it in the reincarnation wheel. Why did the moon deity come here? Did she come here to kill the immortal spirit? We've tracked them all the way here. This path should be the way the ancient immortals and gods left, said the moon goddess coldly. Moon god, do you know the origin of this path? The demon emperor asked. It seems that the celestial spirits relied on this path to evolve. The moon goddess nodded slightly. That's right. However, I don't know exactly where they came from. I need to investigate further. There are clues about the moon god? The demon emperor asked. The moon god said calmly. There are some clues. It is a divine mountain left behind by the Hotu saint, but it is used to suppress a saint's celestial soul. Is moon god confident in obtaining a sage great immortal spirit? The demon sovereign's expression sank. No, I can only give it a try, the moon goddess replied. Let's do it together then. I have some tricks on my sleeves. I believe that even a normal sage would be able to hold them off for a while. The demon emperor said. The moon goddess hesitated for a moment before saying, Then be careful. I'm just a remnant soul. It's not a pity to lose it. I'm just a secondary body of Jiang Changkong. It's not a pity to lose it. The demon emperor smiled. Although he said that, the demon emperor would still be careful. This secondary body of his had brought along a pile of treasures and immortal essences. If the treasure was lost, they could still snatch it back. But if the immortal spirit died, it would be a huge loss. The moon goddess led the way. Along the way, there were immortal formations. The demon emperor would also open them to capture the immortal spirits and primal chaos beasts. Most of the immortal essences here are in the process of transforming. Many have yet to succeed. The moon goddess explained as she hurried along. Because there are countless chaotic beasts, coupled with this ancient path, there are countless immortal essences. The spirit demon emperor listened to her and memorized all the information. During this period of time, the moon goddess had found many clues in the primal chaos, and everything pointed to this path. The clues of the tributary of time also pointed to this place. The moon goddess had originally wanted to step onto this path and directly leave. However, if she wanted to leave, she couldn't just step onto this path. He still had to decipher the mystery of this path and find the exit. The solution lay within the tributary of time. According to the clues that the moon god had obtained, the final clue of the tributary of time was hidden within a divine mountain, and Ho-Tu had used it to suppress the immortal spirit sage. The demon emperor collected the immortal essences, and the moon god also helped. With 2 half-sages working together, the immortal spirits here were powerless to resist. In the beginning, half-saints would occasionally appear to resist, but in the end, half-saints didn't dare to show themselves. Once he collected the worlds, he would be able to stabilize his mystic art to perfection and still have some leftover. In the boundless chaos, the 2 half-sages stepped through the immortal array and obtained more and more immortal essences. A majestic divine mountain emitted the power of reincarnation, and it stood in the primal chaos. The demon emperor and the moon goddess expressions darkened at the same time. Even they felt immense pressure from the dense sage aura. The sage artifact appeared, and the mystic yellow pagoda enveloped the 2 of them. The dense mystic yellow chi protected them. The majestic divine mountain emitted dense sage aura. It was an ancient sage that had been sealed for many years. The 2 half-sages arrived and looked at the majestic divine mountain. Under the divine mountain, 2 arms and a head stared at them coldly. This is the immortal spirit sage? The demon emperor looked down at the immortal spirit sage. His face was covered in dust, and his hair was messy. He looked like a pitiful beggar. There was no ethereal celestial chi from the immortal spirits, and his shriveled arms were like chicken claws. A half-sage from the heavenly realm, and the aura of the reincarnation disk. A sinister voice sounded, and the immortal spirit sage's eyes were filled with killing intent. The demon emperor was wary, but his expression remained calm. That's right, the immortal spirits have been destroyed, and I'm here to take care of you. You're not very powerful, but you sure are arrogant. The immortal spirit sage sneered, and his sage aura suddenly increased. The demon emperor and the moon god retreated at the same time. The mysterious yellow pagoda shook, and ripples appeared on the surface of the pagoda. Boom! The majestic divine mountain shook, and the immortal spirit sage seemed like he was about to get up. The shriveled face and shriveled arms released a sage light. The supreme power of the sage appeared, and the chaos within hundreds of thousands of miles was suppressed. The demon emperor willed, and the immortal slaying four swords appeared, sealing the immortal spirit sage. Immortal slaying four swords? The immortal spirit sage sneered and slapped the immortal extinguishing sword away. How much power can a mere half-sage use? Immortal spirit sage. The immortal spirit sage was someone who had obtained the immortal Tao fruit, and his power was unfathomable. The demon emperor used the immortal slaying four swords again, and with the help of the immortal slaying array, he activated all of his power. Four swords at the same time, immortal slaying, killing array. The shriveled arm swung out sage power, and holy light shone across 10,000 miles. Moonlight shone down, and the moon god was sealed in ice. Boom! The immortal slaying four swords flew back, and the moon god's power dissipated. The two half-sages were sent flying at the same time. Cracks appeared on the golden crow's body. The power of a sage was extraordinary. Two ants, since you're here, there's no need for you to leave. Even though the immortal spirit sage was suppressed, he still had an unfathomable sage power. You're not weak among the sages, the demon emperor said coldly. The moon goddess had a serious look on her face. He didn't kill Ho-Tu back then, and only suppressed him. He's clearly not an ordinary sage. If he was an ordinary immortal spirit sage, Ho-Tu would have killed him back then. The immortal spirit sage roared, and his sage power became stronger. The divine mountain shook more and more violently. The sage light turned into a golden world, sealing the surroundings and trapping the two. I was a late-stage immortal spirit sage back then. If not for Ho-Tu, I would have reached the peak of the immortal spirit sage. The immortal spirit sage's expression was ferocious, and he was filled with resentment and hatred. If not for Ho-Tu, he would not have been suppressed for so many years, causing his strength to decline instead of improving. I'll stop him. You think of a way to leave, the moon goddess said. No need. I could try my heavenly divine aura. The demon emperor sneered and activated the 12 ancestral magus trees in his body without fear. Roar. A roar shook the chaos. A chaotic wind blew, and a peerless, ferocious aura shattered the sage light world. Waves of energy traveled across space and time, coming from all parts of the chaos, the heavenly realm, the celestial realm, and the endless mortal world. An ancient demon god that had died long ago, an existence that could split heaven and earth apart, had reappeared in the world. The ferocious aura suppressed the chaos, and the golden ancient road in the distance shook as if it was afraid of the demon god's aura. An ancient demon god, an existence that could split heaven and earth apart. An illusory axe formed in the demon god's hand. Panga, the immortal spirit sage's pupils contracted, and he exclaimed in fear. This was a truly terrifying existence, the one that had destroyed all the demon gods and the entire chaos. The demon emperor's body merged with the power of Pangu's shadow, and he held the Pangu axe in his hand. The four immortal slaying swords had already been put away. A supreme power flowed in his body, and a special aura gathered in the Pangu shadow. Chapter 819. The Power of Opening the Heavens. The demon emperor could clearly sense that the demonic god Pangu's body was filled with the power of creation. The unparalleled demon god had reappeared today. The entire primal chaos was in turmoil, and even the divine mountain was shaking. The chaos element immortal spirit was in a state of panic at this moment. The capital heavenly deity baleful. The demonic god Pangu was an unparalleled existence. Even if only the remnant power was gathered, it was not something that an ordinary primordial chaos expert could resist. If he was at his peak, he naturally wouldn't be afraid. But now, he had been sealed by the Lady of Earth for so many years, and his strength had been greatly diminished. Enveloped by the might of the fiend god, the sacred power that had almost dried up was stimulated and glowed again. Rumble. The chaotic element immortal spirit seemed to have regained its final radiance, and its strength increased yet again. The supreme divine might, the great Tao of origin, met the divine might of Pangu. Even if it's the power of Pangu, I have nothing to fear. The chaotic element immortal spirit was roused, and boundless holy light radiated from his palms as he took the initiative to strike the demonic god Pangu. Holy light interweaved in his palms, and it was as though countless worlds were pressing down on Zhongxian. The demon emperor controlled the Pangu divine body and swung the Pangu axe. Every move he made was a move that could split open the sky. Boom! The Pangu axe fell, destroying the world and shattering the holy light. The power of splitting open the heavens reigned above chaos origin. The Pangu axe slashed down, and the shriveled arm was easily cut open. The sage's blood pressure collapsed the primordial chaos. The chaotic element immortal spirit's furious roar shook the entire divine mountain. He forcefully erupted and regained his lofty sentiments, but he could not withstand Pangu's divine might. Back then, Pangu was a supreme existence. No one knew exactly how powerful he was. At this moment, the chaos element immortal spirit was able to see that Pangu had definitely touched upon chaos element and had even surpassed it. This power of opening the heavens was not something an ordinary sage could grasp. Divine blood filled the air and primal chaos collapsed. The moon deities retreated far away, not daring to approach the center of the battle. The demon emperor controlled the shock waves very well and did not injure the moon god. Roar! The chaotic element celestial spirit roared furiously as it pushed its divine light to its limits. However, it was unable to withstand the might of the chaotic element's celestial spirit. The Pangu axe fell one after another, severing the immortal spirit's fingers and severing the sacred runes in his body. Painful growls, desperate immortal spirits, under Pangu's axe, lost their vitality. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. His body was still being suppressed by the divine mountain. He could only suffer the axe's blow. The immortal light kept bursting forth. The Pangu axe tore through the immortal light and landed on the immortal spirit. Crack! The sound of bones breaking could be heard, and the spirit demon emperor was slightly surprised. I can't even split your head open with my axe. Moon goddess, you want to kill him in an instant? No matter what, he was still a late-stage primordial chaos saint, even though his strength had declined. However, no matter how much he had fallen, he was still an existence that ordinary sages could not compare to. Back then, Hutu could only seal him, but not kill him. The chaos element immortal spirit's entire body was stained with blood. It was his own blood, and there was a huge gash on his head. Although he really wanted to capture this sage alive, it was impossible. If the seal was lifted, the other party might very well escape. He would not be able to suppress him without using the 12 ancestral sorcerer trees or summoning the remaining power of Pangu. He could only chop him to death on the spot. The struggle of the immortal spirit was futile. The holy power was activated once again, but it could not shake Pangu's divine might. Boom! The Pangu axe fell once more, splitting open the skull. The power of splitting open the heavens and Pangu's divine might all poured into the immortal spirit's body, destroying every last shred of life. His life aura gradually dissipated, and the chaos element immortal spirit perished in a sullen manner. The demon emperor kept the head, the holy blood, and the 2 arms. The rest of his body was sealed in the divine mountain, unable to be taken out. The Pangu's divine body dissipated, and the demon emperor also went limp. He absorbed the surrounding chaotic chi, consumed elixirs, and began to recover. The moon goddess came to his side, silently guarding him. 3 days passed in a flash, and the demon emperor's divine power was fully recovered. Thank you for your protection, moon goddess. Do you need the holy blood? No need. Only a remnant soul can help me improve, the moon goddess said coldly. Now, let's take a look at the clues hidden in this divine mountain. Thank you, moon goddess. The demon emperor looked up at the divine mountain, a glimmer of anticipation flashing in his eyes. The power of moon frost appeared around the moon goddess, condensing into special patterns that were imprinted on her body. Buzz! The divine mountain shook, and the remnant power of time appeared. An image appeared. A river flowed, and the image of Hutu stood on the river, shuttling through an ancient path. Ancient immortal characters appeared. They were the messages left by Hutu. If you want to leave, you must be guided by a tributary of time. The demon emperor looked at the immortal characters in shock. A tributary of time to guide an ancient immortal god away. The moon goddess continued to look. The tributary of time was within the golden ancient path, and it was extremely difficult to find it. Even ordinary mixed essence cultivators would find it difficult. Only peak mixed essence cultivators could sense the traces of the tributary of time and find the river of time. Back then, it was old ancestor Hong Jun who led many sages and spent many years to find the tributary of time. Looks like we still need some time. The demon emperor thought for a while and said, "Let's go first. We have already captured many immortal essences here. Let's return to the heaven realm." Heaven realm? The moon goddess hesitated. With our strength, we can't find it. There are many immortal essences and mixed essence. My main body needs immortal essences to obtain the power of heaven and comprehend the mixed essence Tao. The demon emperor said bluntly, "Moon goddess, my main body will also leave this place to search for the ancient immortal gods. Why don't we work together?" The moon goddess thought for a while and said, "That's fine. I will help you capture immortal essences and help you prove your Tao. However, using the power of heaven to increase your strength and enter the chaos will reduce your strength." Moon goddess, have you ever seen my combat strength decrease? The demon emperor smiled and said, "I am comprehending the path of the demon god. Even with the help of the power of heaven, it will not be a problem." Okay, the immortal essences here have started to leave. There are not many gains. I will go to other places to search. The moon goddess said, "How do I contact the moon goddess?" The moon goddess took out a jade toad and gave it to him. The demon emperor thought for a while and gave him the sage artifact saber and the sage sword. With 2 sage artifacts, he shouldn't have to worry about the moon goddess' safety. The two then separated. With the jade toad, they could contact the moon goddess. With the moon goddess' help, the demon emperor was slightly excited. The moon goddess was a half-sage and stronger than Jun Xian and the other 2 celestial supremes. During this period of time, the moon goddess had found many clues in the chaos. Since she was able to find her way here, she had a better understanding of the chaos. The demon emperor returned alone. Now that he had captured many immortal essences, celestial supremes Jun Xian and the others also had some gains. Soon, his main body would definitely be able to prove his Tao and kill his way into the chaos. It was already 2 months later when he returned to the heaven realm. The demon emperor and the celestial supremes were still sulking in their own nests. They couldn't decide the winner, and they couldn't beat the demon emperor, so they could only hide. These few months, they had also been contacting the immortal essences. However, for some reason, the immortal essences couldn't be contacted. They didn't know if they didn't trust them. The demon emperor killed the immortal essences and buried them in the Holy Land. The heavenly Tao rewarded him again. He placed the head and arm of the immortal essences and blood in the Holy Land and temporarily used the sage artifact Mysterious Yellow Pagoda to suppress the holy might. He contacted the 3 celestial supremes and asked them to return. He believed that the body parts of the immortal essences and immortal essences would be of great help to them. Jiang Changkong, who was on Buzhou Mountain, converted the power of heaven into essence, energy, and spirit. This time, he had 170 million. He already had 390 million and could perfect his mystic art or Tao body. He upgraded the 8 revolutions mystic art, and the heavenly Tao fragment strengthened him again. He started to transform and comprehend the demon god Great Tao. Chapter 820. The Path of the Demon God, the Divine Might of the Great Tao. The fiend's celestial aura in Shao Qin's body grew increasingly intense, and his Tao patterns had been converted by 70%. He was only 30% away from transforming into a true chaotic demon god body. The boundless chaos gave birth to the body of a demon god. The ancient demon god was gone, and a new demon god was born. With the help of the heavenly Tao fragment, it took a full 8 days for Jiang Changkong to break free from the primal chaos. The divine power within his body was boundless and boundless. His third eye opened and peered at the barrier of Buzhou Mountain. The barrier left behind by the ancient immortals rippled slightly. An invisible power spread, causing his 3 eyes to feel pain. Primal chaos blood seeped out. Soon, very soon, I'll be able to leave this place after I corroborate my Tao and reach primordial chaos. Jiang Changkong's heart was filled with excitement. As long as he could prove his Tao, that immortal spirit was nothing to be afraid of. Even if there were sages, their injuries had not healed yet. This was his chance. Jiang Changkong, peak immortal venerable 8 revolutions mysterious art. Perfection, 312. 5,000,000/312. 5,000,000 Kane chaotic Tao body. Perfection, 1/312. 5,000,000 golden crow immortal scripture. Complete, 39,062. 500/39. 062. 500 essence, chi, and spirit, 77. 5,000,000 The 3 immortal venerables returned with many immortal essences. The demon sovereign did not allow them to leave again. They had to remain in the Holy Land to comprehend the chaos element immortal spirits, Great Tao. After all, the limit of an immortal supremacy was still a little dangerous. The immortal essences that the 3 of them brought back amounted to 30 million essence, spirit, and spirit. The demon emperor left once again, with him and the moon god working together to capture immortal spirits. They would soon be able to obtain enough essence, chi, and spirit. The monster emperor and the celestial emperor of the divine court had finally contacted immortal spirit. The demon emperor searched for immortal essences. This time he did not gain much. Those in his old nest had all retreated. Thus, he searched the vicinity of the ancient road and chased after the celestial spirits that escaped. This was the source of the immortal transformation. They could not give up on this place. The demon sovereign stepped on the golden-colored stone path. His godly power spread out as he searched for traces of immortal spiritual aura. As expected, these immortal essences didn't go far. They just hid themselves even more stealthily. He contacted the moon god. The moon god had already captured many immortal essences and even gave him a few strongholds. While the demon emperor was searching, a large number of ancient bloodlines were pouring in from the heavenly realm. Immortal emperors, immortal sovereigns, and even half-sages with ancient bloodlines returned to the immortal world. In the dark, the fiend ancestor controlled the heavenly realm and spied on some immortal spirits. However, these immortals did not attack. Instead, they seemed to be waiting for something. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. The demon emperor and the moon god stopped capturing the immortal spirits, and the immortal spirits disappeared. There were no traces of immortal spirits near the ancient road. The chaos element immortal spirit was nowhere to be seen. Now that he had collected enough celestial essences, the demon emperor and the moon god returned to the heaven realm together. In the heaven realm, undercurrents were surging. Sacred tools enveloped the 2 courts, shielding them from the mysteries of heaven. The demon emperor returned to the Holy Land and converted the immortal essences into heaven's power for his main body. The harvest this time was even greater. including the reward from the heavenly Tao. There was a total of 300 million essence, energy, and spirit. After getting rid of these ancient, immortal god bloodlines and immortal spirits in the heaven realm, he would definitely be able to make another fortune. On Mount Buzhou, Jiang Changkong was in seclusion and had perfected his Tao body, preparing to prove his Tao. Inside the heavenly saint temple, the Archdevil Lord appeared. "You're in trouble. How many immortal essences have arrived?" The demon emperor asked calmly. "There aren't many immortal spirits, but there's a chaos element immortal spirit," the fiend ancestor said solemnly. "Huh?" The demon emperor frowned. "Didn't you say that they wouldn't dare to make a move?" This time, the demon Arch revealed some information. The fiend ancestor sighed. He revealed the heaven realm's secret. Secret? The demon emperor's face was cold. "I have always said that the demon Arch is not suitable, but the heavenly Tao doesn't listen." "You don't listen either. Now that there's a problem, you want me to think of a way to deal with it?" The fiend ancestor sighed. "In the end, only the demon, the Arch, is left. You will understand. Let the Holy Land immortal gods leave Mount Buzhou. What about me, the moon god, and the three celestial supremacies?" The demon emperor frowned. "The patriarch will take them away. As for you, the immortal spirits will not let you go." The fiend ancestor said calmly. "You want me to sacrifice this secondary body?" The demon emperor said coldly. "You can also leave the chaos realm. It's just a secondary body. It won't be a big loss to your main body." The fiend ancestor said, "There's another option. Turn into the netherworld and complete the underworld." "I really want to suppress you again." The demon emperor stood up. His expression was cold. "I actually have to pay such a huge price for the things that you have done." The fiend ancestor kept silent. "I have a condition," the demon emperor said calmly. "If you don't agree, I won't care about anything in the heaven realm. My main body will leave too." The fiend ancestor's expression sank. "Speak. Once my main body comes out, all living beings in the heaven realm will listen to my orders. Charge into the chaos realm and wipe out the immortal spirits." The demon emperor looked at him with a burning gaze. That was his only request. All the immortals in the heaven realm would handle it for him. He would capture all the immortal spirits and chaotic beasts to obtain the power of heaven and transform it into essence, energy, and soul. The fiend ancestor hesitated. Although the immortal spirit's primordial chaos has been sealed, it doesn't mean that there aren't peak primordial chaos existences or even stronger existences. Then, are you planning to wait for them to break the seal and then fall? The demon emperor asked. The heavenly Tao is complete. Even peak primordial chaos can forget about entering the heaven realm. The fiend ancestor said, "I only have one condition. Do you agree?" The demon emperor pressed. The fiend ancestor frowned. "This will lead the celestial world to destruction. If it is impossible, the fiend ancestor can bring the heaven realm's immortals back." The demon emperor said coldly. After so many years, the fiend ancestor's courage has been worn away. "If you become a cowardly rat, I won't say anything. There's no need to agitate me. I can only promise to follow you to the chaos realm," the fiend ancestor said. "That is enough. I will let them retreat now. As you wish, I will sacrifice my secondary body," the demon emperor said indifferently and passed the message to them. At the peak of Mount Buzhou, a giant chaos egg was being nurtured in the chaos lightning. Endless chaos aura entered it. Green light appeared and formed a green lotus, nurturing the giant egg. The fiend god's patterns and fiend god's great Tao were being transformed rapidly. All sorts of great Tao comprehension surged into his mind. His Tao body transformed, and his divine power transformed. All of them were transformed into ancient fiend gods, chaos fiend gods. Fiend gods' great Tao, primordial chaos realm. All of them surged into Jiang Changkong's mind. When his essence, energy, and soul arrived, he would naturally enter a new realm. Powerful divine might spread, vaguely surpassing the divine might of Mount Buzhou. A giant fiend god phantom appeared at the peak of Mount Buzhou. If not for the barrier, the entire heaven realm would probably be shocked. The demon emperor also asked the fiend ancestor to help stall for time. In order to prove their Tao, the demon emperor and the heavenly emperor of the divine court would definitely not mind waiting for a period of time. And this period of time was the time for him to prove his Tao. At the peak of Mount Buzhou, a powerful pressure appeared and enveloped Jiang Changkong, who was in seclusion. Ancient fiend god phantoms appeared and entered the giant egg, fighting Jiang Changkong, who was comprehending the primordial chaos great Tao. The golden fiend god, Pangu, and the other fiend gods were all at the primordial chaos realm. 3,000 fiend gods blocked the way. Great primordial chaos tribulation. Jiang Changkong stood up. The boundless fiend god, Tao, suppressed all the fiend gods. At this moment, the fiend gods that he once had to look up to were nothing in his eyes. He also finally understood why Pangu could easily kill the 3,000 fiend gods and open up the primordial world. There was a fundamental difference between them. Chapter 821. Great primordial chaos tribulation. Fiend celestial blocking the way. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. The chaos fiend celestial power in his body swept across, and a fiend celestial dissipated. The move of Sky Splitter appeared once again, and countless demon gods were slain with a single palm. Attaining the primordial chaos realm and transforming the body of a fiend celestial was equivalent to breaking through to primordial chaos. It could not even break his divine body. That included fiend celestial Pangu. Although Split the Heavens still consumed a lot of energy, he could already unleash a lot of power. Thinking of the pressure when Pangu created the world, Jiang Changkong already had an epiphany. The sky-opening move had already surpassed the primordial chaos realm. The power of the palms intertwined, and the huge world began to shatter, cracks appearing. As the demon god dissipated, the crack gradually expanded. The 3,000 great Daos were collapsing, and the 3,000 demon gods seemed to dissipate in the blink of an eye. The vast amount of divine power was not consumed at all. His every move was filled with mixed origin divine might, and even a demon god would find it hard to shake him. With the death of the last fiend celestial, there was a loud bang as the giant egg shattered and the great chaos essence tribulation dissipated. His breakthrough had caused very little disturbance. To others, this so-called primordial chaos tribulation might be insurmountable, but to him, it was as easy as turning over his hand. He sat cross-legged in the depths of Mount Buzhou and checked his stats. Jiang Changkong, early-stage chaotic origin demon god. 9 revolutions mysterious art. Basic, 1/15, 000, chaotic demon god Tao body. Basic, 1/15, 000, golden crow immortal sutra. Introductory, 1/1, 875, 000 essence, chi, and spirit. 9. 5 million. The golden crow immortal scripture was still able to improve even after it had shrunk by 10 times. Without hesitation, Jiang Changkong once again raised the golden crow immortal sutra to the mid-stage primordial chaos realm. The primal chaos golden crow, great Tao, and various profundities surged into his mind. The transformation continued. The heaven realm had indeed changed greatly. The change happened too quickly. Even the heavenly Tao and the fiend ancestor did not expect it. Inside the divine court, golden blood flowed on the throne. The clear sky's sacred sword flew out of the divine court and disappeared. The spear pierced through the celestial emperor of the divine court, wiping out his life force. The demon emperor's expression was cold, and there was a hint of excitement in his eyes. Beside him were many immortal spirits and ancient immortal gods. The celestial emperor of the divine court widened his eyes as if he hadn't expected such an outcome. The celestial emperor has been chosen. The demon Dharch stepped out of the divine court and stood in the void, looking up at the sky. Heavenly Tao, I am the only celestial Dharch. After allying with the celestial spirits and betraying the heaven realm, the demon emperor finally reached an agreement with the celestial spirits. The immortal spirit gave up on the divine court and chose the demonic monarch. After obtaining the heavenly court's information, the most suitable choice for Xianling was the demon emperor. Rumble. In the sky, the purple aura was vast and mighty, and the heavenly might was brilliant. The demon emperor's expression was excited. The immortal force on his body fluctuated violently. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel excited. The heavenly sage was right in front of him. A wisp of primordial violet chi descended from the sky and entered the demon Thearcha's body. The beast emperor was overjoyed. He had already comprehended the heavenly Tao saint realm. He could prove his Tao. The bell of chaos wrapped around a half-saint immortal spirit and appeared beside him. Demon Emperor, when do you plan to make a move? Take action immediately. Let's deal with Dongwang Changhua first. The Demon Emperor's eyes were cold. The immortal spirits of the Holy Land had all been moved into the Buzhou Mountain. We have also made preparations to ensure that nothing goes wrong. The Demon Emperor can prove his Tao without worry, the half-saint immortal spirit said sinisterly. From today onwards, the heavenly realm is ours. The Demon Emperor sneered and gave an order. The heavenly realm shook. Rays of blood-colored light covered the heavenly realm. There were also pieces of golden fragments floating in the air. Those were the golden fragments of the ancient road. As the golden fragments of the ancient road appeared, dense and unique immortal chi filled the heavenly realm. In the Holy Land, the Demon Emperor, sitting on the divine throne, heard an anxious and angry voice. Demon Emperor, you can leave now. The Demon Emperor has gone crazy. What's going on? The Demon Emperor frowned slightly. Don't ask. Your sacrifice will be meaningless. Take the heavenly Tao fragment as far away as possible. The demon ancestor's voice was very anxious. He wanted to push the Demon Emperor. Rumble. The air shook and a saintly might descended. The Demon Emperor released 10,000 rays of immortal light, and a vast purple aura descended on the Holy Land. My good second brother, I didn't expect you to still dare to appear in the heavenly realm at this time. The Demon Emperor's divine might was unfathomable. Behind him was an elder. The saintly might came from his body. Chaos element immortal spirit. The Demon Emperor's expression was indifferent. I have killed one before. I didn't expect you to dare appear in the heavenly realm. The Demon Emperor's expression changed slightly. The Demon Emperor had killed a chaos element immortal spirit? If it wasn't for Ho-Tu's seal, do you think you could have succeeded? The chaos element immortal spirit said indifferently. Then let's see how strong you, a chaos element immortal spirit, are. The Demon Emperor snorted and summoned the 12 Magus trees again. Rumble. The power of Pangu shook the heavenly realm. The demon god Pangu gathered in the world. Demon Emperor, step back. You can prove your Tao in peace. Leave this secondary body of Jiang Chongkong to me. The chaos element immortal spirit said indifferently. With a wave of his hand, the Demon Emperor had already teleported away. The giant demon god Pangu gathered the power of creation in its body. The chaos element immortal spirit became more serious. A sacred sword released endless killing intent and surged with the might of a demon god. Sky splitting, the Demon Emperor let out a deep roar and unleashed his heaven-splitting force. The demon god roared, and the chaos element great Tao collided with the move of creation. Boom! The void cracked and the earth collapsed. The barrier of Mount Buzhou in the distance was shaking. The terrifying power spread out and the sacred land was collapsing. Fortunately, all the resources were taken away. What shattered was only the manifestation of the heavenly Tao. The Demon Emperor fled into the chaos, and the chaos element immortal spirit followed closely. The power of creation was unleashed again. The chaos element immortal spirit raised a galaxy, and the chaos element great Tao, combined with the might of a demon god, clashed with the power of Pangu. There was a loud explosion, and the chaos within hundreds of thousands of miles was shaken. The Demon Emperor's expression was serious. The chaos element immortal spirit looked relaxed. It's not worth it for him. If Ho-Tu hadn't destroyed his power, how could you kill him? Although you have the power of Pangu, you have barely reached the mid-stage chaos element. The demon emperor's expression was indifferent. It seems that you're only average among the mid-stage chaos element. I can still kill you if I'm average. The chaos element immortal spirit snorted. You can only be arrogant for a moment with the power of Pangu. A moment is enough. The demon emperor used the sky splitter technique, slashing out with the power of sky splitter. The star river was destroyed again. He retreated continuously. The power left by Pangu was not invincible. A mid-stage chaos element, Saint could control the galaxy like the ruler of the universe. Although creation was strong, it was not the real Pangu. It was just a remnant power. The Pangu divine body kept retreating. The demon emperor used his divine might again to stall for time. His main body had already started to transform. When he came out of seclusion, he would definitely be a mid-stage chaos element demon god. This chaos element immortal spirit would not be able to withstand a single blow. Is there only trash like you in the celestial spirit world? The demon emperor retreated, but he sneered coldly. You only sent a mid-stage chaos element immortal to attack the celestial world. I have already destroyed the celestial world. Sending more is unnecessary. The chaos element immortal spirit said coldly. There is no one else in the celestial spirit world, right? The rest of the primordial chaos elements are still sealed and can't escape. Only you can do it. They clashed again. The Pangu divine body shook. The terrifying chaos element Great Tao caused cracks to appear on the demon emperor's body. Today, I will kill your secondary body first. In the future, I will destroy your main body. The river of stars was endless and boundless, suppressing down. Buzz. The heaven and earth chi fell and protected the Pangu divine body. The demon emperor retreated. The heaven and earth pagoda shook violently. The difference was a little big. In addition, the Pangu divine body was not his own power. It was a little difficult to control the heaven and earth pagoda, so he could only barely resist. Just hold on for a while longer. The chaos element immortal spirit's eyes were cold. The demon emperor did not say anything. He just needed to stall for time. Chapter 822. In the primal chaos, demon emperors and sages were fighting. In the heaven realm, the demon court army attacked the Holy Land. The demon Narch had obtained the primordial violet chi, comprehended the opportunity to prove his Tao, and was about to break through to the sage realm. The bloody light enveloped the heaven realm. The golden fragments of the ancient road entered the heaven realm and arranged themselves in a special position beside the monster emperor. The influence of the heavenly Tao was weakening. They were isolating the heavenly Tao. The fiend ancestor was nowhere to be found. Many immortal emperors of the Fey court charged into Buzhou Mountain. The limit of 3 immortal venerables, with the protection of the Book of the Earth, fought against the immortal venerables of the demon court. The demon emperor controlled demonic god Pangu and used the 4 immortal slaying swords, the wheel of reincarnation, and other divine artifacts to delay the immortal spirit sage. The moon god fought against the half-sage immortal spirit. They fought until the primal chaos surged, and the intense battle lasted for 30,000 li. The demon emperor has gone crazy. He actually attracted an immortal spirit saint. In the chaos, celestial lord Zhen Xian held the Book of the Earth in his hand with a solemn expression. What they were facing was a celestial spirit with a sage artifact, which was also at the peak of the celestial venerable realm. Boom! At this moment, the power of destruction surged over, and a pitch-black spear landed beside Sun Wushu. God-slaying spear? Sun Wushu was slightly stunned. A voice sounded beside his ear. The patriarch is lending it to you. Not daring to hesitate, he pulled out the god-slaying spear and faced the celestial venerable spirit head-on. Rumble. A dragon pearl flew over and floated above Peng Lai, immortal venerable's head, while emitting boundless holy might. Ancestral dragon pearl. Peng Lai, immortal venerable, was shocked. This was the dragon ancestor's dragon pearl, the dragon clan's supreme treasure and a sacred artifact. With 3 sage artifacts on their bodies, the 3 great immortal venerables joined hands and unleashed a shocking great divine ability. For a time, near the heavenly realm, the primal chaos was turbulent. All kinds of immortal powers interweaved and tore apart the primal chaos. It was a pity that the influence of the heavenly Tao was weakening. Otherwise, he could have taken the opportunity to absorb these air currents and repair the heavenly realm. The moon god's opponent also had a holy weapon. Although the moon god had a chaos holy sword, the element was not compatible, so she gradually fell into a disadvantage. The heaven realm was in turmoil. Another holy artifact flew over. It was an ancient bridge that displayed yin and yang, suppressing the primal chaos. The Taiji diagram. The power of yin surged into the great Tao of Taiji, and the moon god began to suppress its opponent. At the foot of Mount Buzhou, a fierce battle began. The immortal emperors of the 2 immortal sects joined forces to fight against the immortal emperor of the demon court. A beam of white light flew over and stopped a Penglai immortal emperor. Immortal slaying flying saber. The immortal emperor of the demon court seized the opportunity and slashed down with immortal light. At the critical moment, a golden light descended from the sky. With a loud bang, the immortal light was destroyed and the white light dissipated. The supreme might of the immortal Tao suppressed the foot of Mount Buzhou. An old dragon's eyes were cold. Has the monster emperor really gone mad? The demon emperor has already gone mad. The immortal spirits have charged in. The old ancestor and the demon emperor are fighting in the primal chaos. One of them is a chaos element immortal spirit, and the demon sovereign might not be able to withstand it. The immortal emperor said solemnly after being saved, "Chaos element immortal spirit." The old dragon's gaze was cold. Immortal power surged out, and a loud dragon roar sounded. Roar. In the sky above Mount Buzhou, a dragon's roar echoed. Then, the phoenix let out a long cry. The golden rock flapped its wings, the Qilin stepped on fire, and the wizard tribe descended. The experts of the sorcerer tribe had arrived. At this time, they could no longer hide. Mount Buzhou had already been invaded. Once the demon the arch attained Tao and became a sage, the barrier would disappear, and they would not be able to survive. Did the heavenly Tao really choose the wrong heavenly emperor? The hearts of the 5 races were heavy. At this time, they could only hope that Jiang Chongkong would succeed in his transformation. If he could prove his Tao, there would still be a sliver of hope. It was a bitter battle. Immortal blood gathered into a river at the foot of Buzhou Mountain. The immortal kings and immortal emperors died. The immortal slaying sect appeared again, but they encountered the experts of the sorcerer tribe. The immortals worked together to suppress the demon court, the immortal slaying sect, the ancient bloodline, and the immortal spirits. The heaven realm, the primal chaos, and Mount Buzhou were no longer peaceful. The chaotic golden crow at the peak of Mount Buzhou had already surpassed the early stage primal chaos and reached the mid-stage primal chaos. However, the transformation of the Golden Crow Immortal Sutra was much faster than he had expected. In just 3 days, it had almost transformed. The power of the mid-stage primal chaos and the terror of the chaotic Golden Crow caused the void of the entire peak of Mount Buzhou to distort, and a crack appeared. The barrier was also shaking violently, showing signs of cracking. The transformation continued, but Jiang Chongkong had already opened his 3rd eye. He reached out and pressed his glabella, and the netherworld heavenly eye automatically left his body. With a casual toss, the netherworld heavenly eye found a nether dragon and landed on his glabella. Netherworld heavenly eye? Brother Kong succeeded in proving his Tao, or did he fail? Jiang Zhongming felt the heavenly eye on him and was momentarily stunned. Did he fail and only have the heavenly eye left, or did he succeed and remove it? The bloodlight in the heaven realm became denser and denser, and there were more and more golden ancient road fragments. The The battle of the primal chaos had also reached a critical moment. Boom! The immortal slaying four swords couldn't block the chaos immortal spirit after all. It couldn't activate the power of the four swords with the help of Panga's power. The mid-stage primal chaos immortal spirit was like an unshakable divine mountain. The primal chaos Tao couldn't make up for the difference. Panga's power was dissipating, and the demon emperor didn't have much divine power left in his body. You've lost. The chaos immortal spirit's eyes were cold, and the primal chaos Tao and the endless galaxy poured down. Rumble. The Panga body couldn't block the endless galaxy, and it suddenly spread. The mysterious yellow pagoda rolled out, unable to protect the demon emperor. The chaos immortal spirit said coldly, "You're not bad to be able to fight with me for so long with the power of a half-step saint. You're not bad either." The demon emperor's expression was indifferent, without fear. The chaos immortal spirit frowned, and the endless galaxy rose again. "I'd like to see what else you can do. You'll find out soon." The demon emperor didn't dodge, and he gave up on defense. He only had a little divine power left, and he couldn't fight anymore. The sage artifact floated beside him, waiting for the galaxy to fall. Buzz! The endless galaxy was about to arrive, and a heavy and oppressive power swept over and froze the galaxy. The chaos immortal spirit's expression changed, and his primal chaos Tao dimmed, and his body hunched. This was a primal chaos Tao, at least a mid-stage peak primal chaos Tao. Primal chaos saint? A hint of shock flashed across the chaos immortal spirit's face. The wind and clouds surged on Mount Bujo, and the barrier was torn apart. A figure stepped out of Mount Bujo, and he stepped into the chaos with a boundless holy aura that suppressed 30,000 Li purple chi surged, and chaos surged, and a demon god emerged. Primal chaos demon god. The chaos immortal spirit was shocked when he saw the primal chaos demon god's great Tao. This was a primal chaos demon god, no weaker than the ancient demon god. The demon emperor smiled indifferently, and his body exploded, turning into a stream of light that entered the demon god's body. Jiang Changkong. The chaos immortal spirit's eyes turned solemn. The demon emperor was Jiang Changkong's main body. Now that the demon god had returned, it was obvious that this demon god was Jiang Changkong. "You think you're capable of bullying my secondary body?" Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. "You have one chance." "How arrogant. I'd like to see how much you can compare to the demon god." The chaos immortal spirit let out a deep roar. Countless stars appeared behind him, turning into a galaxy that rammed toward Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. Facing the galaxy, he only threw a single punch. Boom! The power of the demon god pierced through the galaxy, shattering the countless stars and penetrated the immortal spirit's sacred body. There was no terrifying pressure, just a single punch, a very ordinary punch, yet it shattered the galaxy and suppressed the chaos immortal spirit. After capturing the chaos immortal spirit, Jiang Changkong put away all the sage artifacts and turned toward the heaven realm. The chaos immortal spirit's body trembled. It wanted to struggle, but it discovered that it could not break free. Its life force was dissipating, and death was approaching. Chapter 823. In the heaven realm, the bloodlight was dense. The demon arch was still transforming. He was already very close to becoming a sage. If he was given another day or even half a day, he was confident that he could become a heavenly Tao sage. Once he becomes a heavenly sage, the entire heavenly realm will belong to him. Buzz! A great sun appeared, followed by a bright moon. Extreme yin and extreme yang shone through the bloody light. Yin and yang qi devoured the bloody light. His control over the heavenly Tao gradually increased. Jiang Changkong, you dare to cut off my path to sainthood. The demon arch sensed it and was furious. Roaring angrily, the demon emperor looked deranged. Jiang Changkong didn't say a word. His yin and yang energies swallowed up everything, including the golden fragments of the ancient road. As he looked at the golden, ancient road fragment again, he could faintly see a trace of its mysteries. The aura of the Great Tao was somewhat different from the Great Tao of this world, but the essence was the same. As for the specifics, he couldn't tell. Most likely, it was due to his lack of strength. As the blood chi dissipated and the power of heaven strengthened, the demon Thearka's comprehension of the divine Tao increased, but he did not break through. Or rather, he did not dare to break through. "Your helper is gone," Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. He extinguished the chaos element immortal spirit's life force and put away the corpse. The blood-red light dissipated, and the world became clear again. Wisps of immortal chi entered his mind. It was a message from the fiend ancestor and the heavenly Tao. He raised his palm, and an endless amount of primal chaos chi descended. Some of it escaped into the primal chaos, some into Mount Buzhou, and some into the heavenly realm. The power of the heavens quickly came, and Jiang Chongkong's final transformation was finally completed under the blessing of the heavenly Taos. "I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced." The demon emperor let out a long howl, as though he had gone mad. "Why isn't it me? Why is it me again?" He looked up at the sky and asked his last question. He finally couldn't suppress his cultivation anymore and became a heavenly Tao sage. However, it was all too late now. The heavenly Tao once again controlled the heavenly realm and forced him to become a saint. He became a saint, yet he didn't feel the slightest bit of excitement. His body was cracking apart, immortal blood flowing out. Life force slowly dissipated. "Don't let me prove my Tao and become a saint, undying and indestructible." When he became a saint, he would die. The demon emperor was laughing at himself, and also laughing at the ruthlessness of the heavenly Tao. "Jiang Chongkong, you once said that fate has determined that I am the demon emperor, and you, no matter what, will never become the celestial emperor." Blood seeped out of the demon Thearka's 7 orifices. He said in a low voice, "But you and I are both wrong. The demon the Arch is not me, but the primordial demon the Arch." As soon as he finished speaking, his vitality completely dissipated. The demon ancestor appeared. Using his finger as a brush and his blood as ink, he drew a mysterious diagram. Jiang Chongkong was startled. "Primordial demonic emperor? The saint body is the road, the saint's soul is the lamp, and the saint blood is the guide. My old friends, return." The heavenly realm was shaken by the word return. The demonic emperor's blood, body, and soul transformed into a door. Roar! A resounding dragon roar resounded. A divine dragon was the first to pass through the door. Its majestic holy might shook the heavenly realm. After so many years, Hao Qian actually gave up the heaven realm. A low voice sounded. Dressed in a golden crow robe, a supreme emperor's might, bringing with it the might of a saint. The primordial demon emperor had returned to the heaven realm. The celestial emperor that had long been chosen was the primordial demon emperor from back then. The current demon emperor was just an item to guide them back. As long as he proved his Tao and became a saint, he would die. The demon emperor saw through this and wanted to unite with the immortal spirits to weaken the heavenly Tao, prove his Tao himself, and truly control the heaven realm. At that time, the primordial demon emperor could forget about returning. After all, you once controlled the heaven realm. The patriarch died sullenly and helped Hongjun. An old voice sounded. Yin and yang qi circulated. An old Taoist stepped out of the door. The strength of his holy might was no weaker than theirs. Patriarch Yin and Yang. Endless clear qi and thousands of turbid qi appeared. A world appeared. Another old Taoist stepped out and entered the heaven realm. Patriarch Qianquan, the mighty figure that should have died long ago, had been resurrected at this moment. Then, the mighty demon race army, the former demon master Kuin Peng, and the 10 demon marshals flew out of the door. There was also a monstrous demonic aura and endless destructive aura of the demon race immortals entering the heaven realm. We greet the demon ancestor. Demon master Kuin Peng leads the demon court army to greet the demon emperor. Kuan Peng said respectfully. The holy might far surpassed that of Jiang Changkong. They were at least late-stage primordial chaos, or even stronger. The strongest of the demon master Kuan Peng's immortals was only a half-sage. Including the ancestral dragon, there were 4 primordial chaos mighty figures. The moment the ancestral dragon appeared, he entered Mount Buzhou. This is using the demon emperor to exchange for their return. Jiang Changkong frowned. The demon ancestor's aura was also increasing. One figure after another flew over from the immortal realm, causing his aura to soar. Compared to the primordial demon emperor, he was slightly stronger. This is the hidden power of the heaven realm. The demon ancestor came to Jiang Changkong's side. We will not make things difficult for you. In the future, we will govern the heaven realm well. Then what is my request? Jiang Changkong asked calmly. Kill your way into the chaos and kill the immortal spirits. The patriarch will still say the same thing. I will lead the demon race army and kill my way into the chaos with you, said the demon ancestor. As for them, I cannot guarantee anything, Jiang Changkong said indifferently. As long as the immortal spirits are not destroyed, the heaven realm will not be at peace. With our return, the heavenly Tao will naturally be complete. From today onwards, it will be difficult for the immortal spirits at the peak of primordial chaos to act fiercely in the heaven realm, said the primordial demon emperor proudly. Jiang Changkong said, I want to leave. It is not my wish to be stagnant and hide in a region. Whether it was the martial Tao or the immortal Tao, no matter which path it was, the most terrifying thing was not that the path was endless, but that it was stagnant. He wanted to continue walking and see if there was an end, and if it was really infinite. Roar! A resounding dragon roar sounded again. An old and powerful dragon voice sounded. Since you're the acting dragon king of the dragon race, the dragon race will naturally follow you. I also want to continue walking and see how far that old man Hongjun has reached, said Patriarch Yang. And fellow Taoist Yang Mei, he went through so much effort to revive us and want us to help him look after his home. Dream on. Patriarch Heaven and Earth sneered. The primordial demon emperor frowned and suddenly realized that no one in the heaven realm wanted him. Should he still stay in the heaven realm? After millions of years, when they broke through to primordial chaos one by one and reached a higher realm, how would he feel when they came back to show off? I will go with you. The primordial demon emperor gritted his teeth. He could not stop. Weren't they just immortal spirits? Back then, Hutu could kill them and make them tremble in fear. All of them combined were inferior to Hutu. Although they were inferior now, they would definitely catch up in the future. Immortal spirits were just the first step. Then I will enter seclusion for a few days to digest the harvest this time. Jiang Changkong looked at his essence, qi, and spirit. This time, he saved the heaven realm and killed many immortal spirits. The heavenly Tao was finally generous for once. Essence, qi, and spirit, 60 million. The power of heaven had also shrunk. If it had not shrunk, it would have been 600 million. Jiang Changkong, early stage primordial chaos demon God 9 revolutions mystic art. Basic, 1/15th million chaos demon God Tao body. Basic, 1/15th million golden crow immortal sutra. Basic, 1/11th. 25 million essence, chi, and spirit. 67, 625, 000 Jiang Changkong returned to Mount Buzhou to undergo a transformation. He raised the 2 martial arts to initial success and the Golden Crow Immortal Sutra to Deshang. He became a late-stage chaos demon god. Now that the immortal spirits had not recovered, it was their best chance. Once all the immortal spirits recovered, it would be difficult for them to destroy them. The primordial demon emperor and the other sages returned, and the heavenly Tao was restored. The last 2 fragments were with them. The entire heaven realm was bathed in the light of the heavenly Tao. The voice of the heavenly Tao resounded throughout the heaven realm, the immortal world, and the endless mortal realm. The primordial demon emperor began to rule the heaven realm, rebuild the demon court, and set the rules. The sacred land still existed, but the primordial demon emperor chose to preserve it. The heavenly Tao fragments gathered together to form a jade butterfly. The creation jade butterfly contained 3,000 laws, a supreme sage artifact. With the enhancement of the creation jade butterfly, Jiang Changkong's strength improved rapidly. Chapter 824. The heavenly Tao was complete, and the heaven realm regained its peace. The ancestral dragon also returned to the immortal world and led the dragon race to suppress the four seas. The vitality of the four seas was restored, and the Sea Clan began to be born. Patriarch Qianquan spread sacred light and governed the heaven realm. The patriarch of the Phoenix and Qilin bloodline had yet to revive. They were not prepared enough and would only return after some time. After a month, Jiang Changkong finally completed his transformation and stepped into the late-stage Chaos Origin Fiend Celestial Realm. Jiang Changkong, late-stage Chaos Origin Fiend Celestial 9 Revolutions Mystic Art. Initial success, 1/90th million Chaotic Fiend Celestial Tao Body. Initial success, 1/90th million Golden Crow Immortal Sutra. Desheng, 1/67th. 5 million Essence, Qi, Spirit, 26. 375 million. The four sages had been preparing for Jiang Changkong's breakthrough for a long time. The immortals of the immortal world and the two major immortal sects fought their way into the chaos under the lead of him and the four sages. The chaotic bone dragon shows the way had absorbed the golden ancient road fragment and turned into a golden divine dragon. The aura of the bone dragon was comparable to the mid-stage chaos origin realm. It moved faster and carried countless immortals. They fought separately. The moon goddess led the demon ancestor and the demon the arch to search for immortal spirits. Patriarch Yin Yang and Qianquan led the two major immortal sects to search for immortal spirits that they had once recorded but could not deal with. After leaving the heaven realm, their strength had fallen and was only at the late-stage Chaos Origin realm, which was not the limit. If they were in the heaven realm, they could exert peak Chaos Origin realm or even peak Chaos Origin realm strength. Jiang Changkong and the ancestral dragon led the 5 clans and the former demon emperor's subordinates to the ancient road. There were no immortal spirits on the golden ancient road, so Jiang Changkong let them search separately. If there were Chaos Origin immortal spirits on the ancient road alone, he would not let any of them go. He did not bring any sage artifacts. At his level, he did not need to be afraid as long as he did not encounter peak Chaos Origin realm experts. There were many Chaos Origin immortal spirits injured in the past, so he encountered a suppressed Chaos Origin immortal spirit not long after. It had also been a top existence in the Chaos, but it was now just a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. After suppressing a primordial Chaos immortal spirit, Jiang Changkong traversed 10,000 miles with a single step. His demonic god, Tao pattern spread out as he searched for the immortal spirit. The ancestral dragon was outside. If there was any trouble, he would be able to rush over in time. A month later, Jiang Changkong discovered a group of immortal spirits. These immortal spirits hid near the sealed sage, hoping to receive the protection of the sage. However, the person who welcomed them was only Jiang Changkong. This was a terrifying late-stage primordial chaos, fiend celestial. The great Tao of the demon god was like a heavenly curtain, swallowing even the chaos element immortal spirits. Large swathes of immortal essences fell, and there were also some chaotic beasts. Once discovered, not a single one was spared. Regardless of whether he was strong or weak, Jiang Changkong would not stay. He often discovered the remnant aura of time, but he didn't care about it. A year later, Jiang Changkong returned. He had captured enough immortal essences. He gathered the power of the entire heaven realm and captured the heaven realm in exchange for their essence, energy, and spirit. It took him a year to advance further. His mystic art and Tao body had reached the late stage, and his golden crow immortal scripture had reached the perfected stage, allowing him to reach the peak of primordial chaos. Along the way, they encountered many chaos element immortal spirits. One chaos element immortal spirit could be exchanged for 5 million heavens power. The heaven realm's heavenly Tao was also very happy. After digesting so many immortal essences, the entire heaven realm and immortal world were filled with innate spiritual energy. The damaged areas began to be repaired, and the heaven realm began to strengthen. The netherworld was still the same, but the netherworld ghost chi began to strengthen. The ghost race that had left in the past also returned and rejoined the netherworld. Of course, the treatment was different. They could only enter the chaos and capture immortal essences. In terms of strength, the immortal essences in the chaos were far stronger than those in the heaven realm. However, their sages were either seriously injured or sealed. They faced the ancestral dragon, the demon ancestor, the demon arch, Yin Yang, heaven and earth, and Jiang Changkong, 6 sage-level existences. All 5 of them were veteran sages, and the weakest was at the late stage primordial chaos. Jiang Changkong, who had already reached the peak of the primordial chaos, was not someone the immortal essences could resist. Another 3 years passed, and some of the weaker immortals in the heaven realm improved rapidly. His senior sister and the others also became immortals. Sun Wuxuan had long become an immortal supremacy and was now a mid-stage immortal supremacy. Immortal Jinshuan and the others also comprehended the sage Dao and became half-sages. In 3 years, Jiang Changkong advanced further and perfected his mystic art, Dao body, and Golden Crow immortal realm. However, the problem was that the heavenly Dao didn't pay him. It wasn't that it didn't want to, but that it couldn't afford it. The immortal essences had been killed, and the power of the heavenly Dao had to be accumulated again to maintain the heaven realm. Jiang Changkong, peak chaos origin Fian Celestial 9 Revolutions mystic art, perfected, 324 million/324 million chaotic Fian Celestial Dao body, perfected, 324 million/324 million Golden Crow Immortal Sutra, perfected, 405 million/405 million essence, chi, and spirit. 0 Jiang Changkong really wanted to kill another immortal supremacy, but the immortal supremacies in the heaven realm were all acquaintances now. Anyone who went against him had all died. He scanned the chaos origin Fiend Celestial realm with a glance, and the situation of the chaos origin Fiend Celestial was already clear. A tributary of time was surging rapidly. There was another one in the Golden Ancient Road. 2 tributaries of time. One was left by the Lady of Earth, which recorded everything in this world, including the original research. He was no longer interested. What he saw was another river. Divine power restrained the tributary of time. The 5 sages, the moon god, Zhan Xian, and the other half-sages all arrived. In the tributary of time, a roaring beast, an immeasurably tall, chaos fiend celestial opened up the chaos and created a world. Countless years passed. A steel dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long, a fighter jet that soared in the starry sky, a world of guns, an angel with wings, and a demon with sharp horns. A carefree heaven, only a sinful hell. Heaven, eternal paradise. A glimmer of understanding flashed in Jiang Changkong's eyes. God, how Tian wanted to create a paradise, a holy land, and an imitation of this heaven, right? Angels, demons, how nostalgic. That fiend celestial that opened up the heaven and earth seems to be Pango. Patriarch Yin Yang suddenly said. Everyone looked at the chaos fiend celestial, who also had an axe that opened up the heaven and opened up the chaos. However, this fiend celestial did not turn into chaos. He just sprinkled blood and created countless worlds. Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly, and a feeling came to him. I see. Jiang Changkong suddenly understood and stepped into the chaos. I'm going to open up the sky, and only half-sages can come. Open up the sky. The expressions of the group changed, and they hurriedly followed. Jiang Changkong chose a position not far from the heavenly realm. He did not have a sage artifact, and only used his own fiend celestial power to open up the sky. The 3,000 laws of earth, water, fire, and wind all appeared. In the chaos, there were also 3,000 laws and 3,000 great Tao. Clear air rose, turbid air fell, and a new world began to form. The fiend celestial ancestor and the half-sages all looked at the power of opening up the sky and the 3,000 laws. At this moment, they seemed to understand something, but also seemed to not understand. The pressure appeared again. Just like Pangu, Jiang Changkong stepped on the turbid air and supported the clear air with his hands. Patriarch Heaven and Earth laughed 3 times, comprehended the great Tao of heaven and earth, and left the world. Next, the ancestral dragon, the demon the arch, the fiend celestial ancestor, and other sages witnessed the opening of the sky again and had new insights. Zhen Xian, Sun Wuxiu, and Penglai Xian also comprehended the primordial chaos realm and left. In the chaos, only Jiang Changkong was left. With the boundless divine body, the sky was also 1 foot taller. Endless comprehension of the 3,000 laws flowed in his body, reaching the limit of the primordial chaos. The pressure appeared and began to weaken. Traces of something similar to the power of heaven entered Jiang Changkong's body and were converted into essence, qi, and spirit. After converting enough, Jiang Changkong improved. This time, it was the fusion of the 3,000 laws, and the power in his body began to change, turning into a stronger power, just like the pressure. Endless purple energy was born in his body, replacing the divine power. Primordial Tao. After an unknown period of time, Jiang Changkong fell. An array of purple light escaped and disappeared. His body turned into mountains and rivers, and his skin turned into a thin film, isolating the chaos and converting connate spirit qi. 1,000 years later, in the heaven realm, 3 immortal supremacies reached the primordial chaos Tao. Chen Qianhuan and the others became immortal emperors. The fiend celestial ancestor and the other sages severed the heavenly Tao and reached the peak of the primordial chaos. They once again came to the world that Jiang Changkong opened up. There was only a world here, and there was no Jiang Changkong. He also transformed into all things, and no one knows where he went. The sages murmured. The dense aura of the great Tao manifested and condensed into a figure. Everyone, sorry for the wait. Jiang Changkong? You? The sages were puzzled. The figure said calmly, I am Dongwang Changyue, the heavenly Tao of the Holy Land. Holy Land? You want to turn this place into a holy land? The sages were stunned. Was he really going to create a holy land? This is the wish of my main body. I will contact the heavenly Tao of the heaven realm later and guide them here. Only those who have achieved great merit can ascend in this world, and it will not expand. The primordial chaos must leave. Dongwang Changyue said, the resources have been nurtured, and my main body is waiting for you on the great Tao of the other world. The great Tao of the other world? The sages were slightly stunned. That golden ancient road is the great Tao of the other world. Someone sent it here, and it is also because of this that the primordial beast can transform. Who sent it here? The sages hurriedly asked. Pangu. He needs the ancient immortal gods to help. What help? The other world. You will know when you get there. My main body has already opened the entrance and is waiting for you. The sages hurriedly said. The other world's time tributary was suppressed in Jiang Changkong's palm. On the golden ancient road, there was a sealed door that led to the exit of this place. The demon ancestor was the first to ask, Taoist Jiang, are we going to the other world? I have seen it. There are 2 paths to choose from. Jiang Changkong said calmly. There are endless worlds and endless great Tao. You can choose not to pursue Pangu, or you can. What will Taoist Jiang choose? The sages asked. Pangu and Hongjun are there. I am not needed there. I will pursue higher realms. After saying that, Jiang Changkong stepped into the primordial chaos. Unlimited leveling still existed. Jiang Changkong. Middle primordial chaos primordial mystic art. Initial success. 1/30,000,000 primordial great Tao constitution. Initial success. 1/30,000,000 essence, spirit, and energy. 0 inches the endless universe and the myriad worlds. He could be like Pangu, going to the primordial chaos of other unborn worlds to harvest demon gods. Pangu split heaven and earth in the other primordial chaos, slaying demon gods and opening up worlds to obtain the power of the great Tao to raise his realm. However, Pangu was in trouble now. In the ancient epic, an expert had barged in and helped the great Tao and him. Now, that expert had perished. His world was damaged, but contained transcendence opportunities. Some primordial great Tao experts had entered in pursuit of transcendence. Pangu had no choice but to invite the ancient immortal gods to return the favor and help their descendants transcend. Jiang Changkong did not interfere in this matter. Pangu could settle everything. He did not want to pursue the so-called transcendence because Pangu had long left behind the secrets of transcendence. As long as the heart was there, transcendence was everywhere. Pangu's heart had always been in this world, but his heart was still in the earth that he had transmigrated to. He had to go back and protect those fetters Senior and the others had become primordial chaos. His secondary body could also inform them. If they wanted to find him, he would come to receive them. As for the moon deity, the demon ancestor, and the others, they chose to find Pangu. End of book.